of the state to obtain guns to defend themselves against bandits' invasion. Now, this became necessary following the increase in the activities of bandits in various parts of the state. So, Dixon Osagi is here to discuss the declaration of the Zamfara government. But first, let's take a break to see what we found in the news.
How can we have peace without justice?
Plus Politics. It's not just another political conversation, it's about keeping you in the know. Relevant interviews, asking the tough questions to those that matter. Get the answers you need. Does it mean that the people who were injured, people who were shot at, those who were involved in that stampede are not going to get justice?
It is unfortunate, it is sad that we have a government of deaf and dumb.
Analysis from top experts.
The last election was not really an election.
We feel that Obasanjo has a very special place in his heart for hating Ijaw people.
I think it really boils down to two things. One, trust and accountability.
Plus Politics, every weeknight at 7 p.m. on Plus TV Africa.
All right, you're still watching Ways. Today is PTSD Awareness Day. That's Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder Awareness Day. It has a profound effect on the lives of those who suffer from it. The statistics alone are staggering, but can only tell a portion of the story. The trauma and anxiety associated with PTSD is a constant burden, inseparable from the sufferer. It was once a condition that was attributed only to returning combat veterans, but more and more the condition is diagnosed in those who have experienced violent crime or lived through catastrophic events. Now, some of the symptoms people suffering from PTSD may experience are trouble sleeping, reliving memories of the event, anxious or on the edge, avoidance of things or people who remind you of events over time. The signs may fade. Now, however, if they don't fade, seeking treatment is not only suggested but helpful to many who suffer from PTSD. The United States Senate established PTSD Awareness Day in 2010 following then Senator Kent Conrad's effort to designate a day awareness as a tribute to Army Staff Sergeant Joe Bale of the North Dakota National Guard. Bale suffered from PTSD and took his own life in 2007 after returning to North Dakota following his second tour of duty in the Iraq War. Bale's birthday, June 27, was chosen to mark PTSD Awareness Day and honor his memory. So post-traumatic stress disorder, I have suffered this, for the longest of time because I went through crisis in the North, So if I hear sounds of loud sounds, like banging sounds, like the knockout and all of that, my heart starts to palpitate. Then at some point, we were robbed in school with flashlights. So if we're approaching a police checkpoint
and you see the flashlights,
it just,
takes you back.
I had sleepless nights, you just be thinking, be reliving the memory. And I didn't even see the dead bodies. My sisters were the ones that saw the dead bodies, like burnt human beings.
Really?
Yeah, I was a bit shielded because for some strange reason, for every time the war would break, that day I would just fall ill. And that day, and my dad, unlike him, he would say, even if you're ill, go to school. If it's getting worse, they'll call me to come take you up. But for all the times, he just said, okay, stay home, let me take you to the hospital. And by the time, before we even get to the hospital, the fight breaks out, and they forget that I even forget that I was, running a temperature or something. It just happened like that. So, despite that, I still have those. So I cannot imagine the people that
we're actually in it and witnessing.
So, did you have any experience like PTSD?
Yes, I had one. I suffered something in my life, and I don't want to talk about on TV. So I understand this, but I thank God that it doesn't affect me anymore.
You're so blessed, man. You don't dwell in things.
No, I'm not a dweller. I only dwell in the secret place.
Of the Most High, yeah. How about you, Lady?
Well, I dwell and I camp a tent there. And
Are you serious?
I'm telling you, at times I can't just but live through it and then come out on the other side and then get stronger. That's how I know how to deal with it. I don't know how to suppress my feelings. If you ask me how I am, if I'm not fine, I'm not fine.
So you're the kind of person that when you are served breakfast, you guys know what breakfast is.
Breakfast is not even one of the things I would consider.
You stay there and continue listening to love songs
but
and crying and
that's
crying.
the funny thing. It's not there are different things that affect people in different ways. Breakfast would never even matter to me because I've never even countenanced it in the first place. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So anybody that wants to serve breakfast just has to decide whether it's yam and egg or it's akara and ogi. I don't mind whatever breakfast. I don't even consider it to be breakfast.
Like that.
But I suffered domestic violence. And I find that when people raise their voices around me, it gets me really jittery. And it was my kids that first noticed it and said, I think this is what might be wrong with you. Because even when nobody's threatening you,
You're afraid.
once you see that there's an elevation in sound, you start getting stiff and defensive, almost as if something is coming at you and you may need to protect yourself from it. So that's my own experience of PTSD. It's been decades, so I survived it.
Thank God.
We live, so let's find what we found in the news.
Honestly, I like you already.
Money. What's your story?
Ibrahim Muhammad forced to resign as CJN after protest letter by 14 judges. So the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Ibrahim Tako Muhammad, resigned on Sunday according to reports. He cites his ailing health as a reason for his resignation. Last week, in a letter disclosed to multiple media houses, 14 justices of the Apex Court accused the CJN of abandoning his responsibilities as a leader of the court. The judges also accused the CJ of going on foreign trips with his family while denying them the right to go on international training. So it was learned that there was a memo from the justices to the presidency highlighting all of the CJ's financial dealings and stating that they will stop sitting from September if he is not removed. So, however, the CJ, in a statement issued by his spokesman, Issa Ahuraka, said he did not want to join issues with the justices, adding that the circulation of the letter is akin to dancing naked at the market square. So a few hours ago, so this is another report, a few hours ago, President Muhammadu Buhari swore in Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, a justice, forgive me, a justice of the Supreme Court as the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria. So President Buhari administered the oath of office on Ariwoola at the council chambers of the presidential villa, Abuja. Forgive me, Amedo.
So what's the
gist of the story?
So the gist of it is that he's not well. He's resigned based on health issues, and they've put someone else to stay there in acting. Yes.
Okay, so let's watch the space. Lady, your story.
We're just going to go back to follow up on the Ekwere Madu.
Ekwere Madu. Now it's your turn to mispronounce.
And I got it well last week.
That very well. Ekwere Madu.
And Ariwola, okay? So last week, like some people suggested after we had spoken about the breakout of the story, we also started saying that let's think about it the way most people act when they want to jackpot, right? Let's take it from that angle that this boy knew exactly what he was going for and he was in agreement of it. He knew that, and then again they say that he's not a minor, that he's actually an adult.
I have also another one.
Yeah, a family member claims he's 25.
Yes.
The immigration documents of his passport say he's 21, but we know that he's a mature person. I actually zoomed in to look at his visa, and the expiry date is in July. So I believe, let me say allegedly, just to protect myself from any legal acts, I believe that what happened was that this guy saw it as an opportunity to go abroad because they had made the statement that they were going to make life better for him. He saw it as an opportunity to go abroad. And they said that his organ didn't even match. He wasn't a good match. Of course, whether or not it was a good match
found out when they traveled.
When he traveled.
Yeah.
So whether or not he was a good match, assuming they even went through surgery, the agreement they had at the embassy that they made an application to was that he would come back home. I see it as him trying to, abscond.
Seek asylum. That's what they say.
Seek asylum.
But that is what it is. It's as simple as that. But let me tell you how the law works. It's not about what he intended to do. It's about what the law states.
And how it started in the first
they
place.
are not supposed to
solicit for
they
pay.
are not supposed to do that at all.
Yes.
You understand? So that is what it is.
I heard it's illegal for them to offer money when you're trying to get someone to donate an organ in the UK.
you are not supposed
You're not supposed to get
no.
any monetary benefits for it. Anybody that does it
and he's
has
supposed
to
to
be
be
a match.
accompanied by a family member.
Exactly, in case it doesn't make it out.
See, I don't blame the boy. Anybody right now in Nigeria that sees an opportunity to jackpot
wasn't it
will
in
go.
Zimbabwe that they said they were cutting off tolls?
Toes,
and someone was already saying that if they brought it to Nigeria.
In fact, I calculated my toes.
I was thinking as well that when will I be able to get property?
You guys are not serious.
It's a joke. As your boss will say, meaning that it's in jest that we find out what is really serious.
Yeah.
And we discuss
it because I was seriously calculating it. That's some millions right there. The biggest tool is the most expensive. The tiniest is the...
And yours is yellow toe.
I don't believe you. And yellow toes. I'm
so at the end of the day, on the one hand, when the story broke out, we all were up in arms and, trying to accuse this shady, in quotes, politician for having done that, trying to save his child's life. But now they're saying, let us see from a different perspective of it was supposed to be mutually beneficial.
Yes.
And someone has now reneged on the agreement that they had, apart from which he's now trying to incriminate them, which is separate.
It's understandable. So what I would just say to this, next time, get a good lawyer.
Absolutely.
Because your lawyer is supposed to do all the checks.
Get money. Get money.
I know a family that actually had a nanny or a house up in the house. Once they accuse you of anything, before it's like you're guilty until proven innocent. That's how it seems.
Yeah. There are some matters that are very, very
sensitive. All right, so mine is just to say that I'm loving Tonto Dike by the minute. She's the deputy governor candidate for what's it called, the ADC, that's African Democratic Congress. So if they can just quickly show the video clip, just to say we're in solidarity with her.
Here present, the governorship candidate of Rivers State, Honorable Tonte, members of the press crew, ladies and gentlemen, permit me to stand on existing protocol and state that today is not a day for long speech, but a day to walk the talk. It is obvious the majority of Nigerians and the good people of Rivers State in particular have complained for far too long on how governance and democratic development dividends have not met international best standards. We have also grumbled on why selfless, vibrant, and innovative youths have not been given the opportunity to participate and contribute their quota towards the development of their states, with special interest in Rivers States, where I personally come from. I am very optimistic that we are in a defining moment in our social and political history, but desperate measures shouldn't be the first and last option. But a technical approach is needed to salvage the plights confronting our dear here present.
Okay, so I'm excited for one thing that, a lot of people have talked, right? Whether you like it or not, as long as I see people like this stepping up to the challenge, it's more than enough for me. Let's not just talk and talk and talk. At least she's doing something, trying to take it a step further, to walk the talk, which is good.
It's
right?
admirable.
It's admirable, yeah. So whether or not she's qualified, whether or not she has the technical know-how, let her first of all go first, because she
how such acts would encourage other people that really have the know-how to do it. Saying it might even be just because they want to oppose her that they will step up to the plate. But I mean, with the following that she has and the controversy that seems to follow her everywhere she goes, it's good news. It's going to have traction for a while till we figure it out. Because that party, Nigeria is always seemingly running a two-party system. At times, I feel personally, now why do people bother? Personally.
Okay, on that note, let's take a break. Let's discuss guns. I'm thinking I'm going to get one. Stay with us.
Ooh,
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the Babin, I pay my rent. From the Babin, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, in a statement obtained by The Punch on Sunday, the Commissioner for Information, Ibrahim Megaji Dosara, revealed that the government had concluded arrangements to facilitate residents to acquire basic weapons. Now, the statement partly read, government has henceforth directed individuals to prepare and obtain guns to defend themselves against the bandits, as government has directed the State Commissioners of Police or State Commissioner of Police to issue licenses to all those who qualify and are wishing to obtain such guns to defend themselves. Government is ready to facilitate people, especially our farmers, to secure basic weapons for defending themselves. Today, we want to discuss this statement about the prepare and obtain gun declaration by the Zamfara state government. Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-8663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. I want to bring in Dixon in a minute, but I just wanted to hear your thoughts on these guns. Do you agree with the government saying that people can go and start to obtain guns just to protect themselves? What's your thought?
Short answer, no.
Okay.
If I could go further, I mean, we have America going through a crisis of people having the ability to pick up guns at will, or willy-nilly, as they would say. And you can't really talk about the mental state of mind of people that are handling guns. They say it's not guns that kill people, it's people that kill people. So now we're talking about trying to get protection for ourselves, but at the cost of what? I mean, we've seen people who are uniformed men in traffic being riled and having road rage and cocking guns and everything. So you can imagine how it feels when a civilian has the right to carry arms as well. We won't even be speaking anymore.
To be chaotic.
It's just, let's just shoot each other and move on. It's very dangerous.
Absolutely. Let me hear your thought, Manny.
Well, the Nigerian constitution is silent on this. And the Firearms Act just says that you have to have a license to be able to own guns in Nigeria. You have to be over the ages of 17 years old, no criminal record, and no traits of domestic violence or any addictions. So that said, in answering your question, is what do I think about it? I just think that in Nigeria, even if we have laws, we suffer from execution, we suffer from implementation. So what are the laws that would govern the carrying or licensing of guns to individuals? I think that's what we should be more worried about. Do we have a problem in Nigeria? Yes, we have a security issue in Nigeria. From the survey that I heard, over 11,000 people have died in Zamfara. So if we have this number increasing, it's little wonder that a governor is telling his people to go and buy guns. But it is the responsibility of the government to protect its citizens.
Absolutely.
You know, so I think that because of who we are as a nation, I don't advise this.
Absolutely. Let me bring in our guest now. This Dixon Osaji is a criminologist and a global security analyst. He holds a Gold Standard Security Certification, the Certified Protection Professional, that's CPP Board Certificate, United States of America. He's a former soldier of the Nigerian Army and a recipient of the Nigerian Army Gallant Medal of Honor in Operations Harmony 4, Bakassi Peninsula. Dixon is an internationally certified security expert and the managing director of Debris Protection Services Limited, a licensed private security company here in Nigeria. And he's joined us live in studio. Thank you so much, Dixon, for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
That was you. You're wondering, who was that? Who was that? You know, so
impressive profile.
Thank you so much, because again, first of all, I want to say thank you, because every time we call on you, you always answer us promptly. I mean, this is a conversation that I didn't just want us to just talk about. Let us even hear it from a perspective of a professional. First thing that came to my head when I saw this, prepare and obtain guns from the government, I'm wondering, is this not failure on the part of the government? And secondly, I'm wondering, how do we even begin to harmonize this thought of guns? Why now? Insecurity has been on, as far as my head can calculate, when then President Jonathan was in office. So let me take out Obasanjo's era, because there was a bit of control then. There was quick, swift response and all that. I'm talking about when they started losing grounds in terms of like arresting and I mean, addressing rather the situation or curbing the menace. It was during the later part of President Jonathan's term that insecurity started. So why didn't they bring up this law? So why is it now? And, you know, why are they asking people to go get guns now? Yeah.
Well, it's very funny. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Beautiful programs, beautiful ladies on the shows.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
I am blessed. Well, you see, presently here in Nigeria, we are suffering from multi-dimensional security threats from the east, west, south, and north. And going by your question, Zamfara State, for example, has been suffering from a high rate of insecurity since 2011, about 11 years down the line. People are dying every day. Billions of naira has been spent in Zamfara State to bring the state of Zamfara to a positive state, positive peace situation. And now the governor has asked that everybody needs to, you know, get licensed. That is a failure on our military. That is a failure on our security agency as well, because the best time to prepare in a war situation is peacetime. So we are in a war situation here in Nigeria. We must accept that fact. Nigeria is in a state of war. Now, when you go into global statistics, when human life exceeds 999 being eliminated by criminal elements or terrorists, that is a war situation. But here, we are getting used to human lives being killed every day. In fact, it's even getting normal. Now, if you go by what the governor is trying to say, first of all, do we have the mindset to license? Are we prepared? Are we at that stage in which we want to give Nigerians guns? Psychologically, I would say no, because the state of insecurity in Nigeria is very worrisome. And also, one of the problems we have in Nigeria, how we arrive at this stage, is because of the proliferation of small arms and ammunition, you know, from the east, west, and north. The porosity of our national borders brought us to this stage, because most of these guys, after the fallout of Libya and the Sahel region, most people think that Nigeria is a place you come and find refuge, because crime flourished in Nigeria.
Absolutely.
And that is how we need to, as time goes on, we need to start looking at how we mitigate this bit of insecurity in North. And also, what is the administration of criminal justice system? What are they doing in respect to this? The Chief of Defense Staff today says it very clearly that it's a no-no that Zamfara State Governor has no power to authorize the Commissioner of Police to arm its citizens.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
It's a no-no.
It's a no.
So, why?
Because probably it's not constitutionally correct for him to be able to make such a statement.
The Constitution is silent on that. So
We
that
know
means it does not give permission and it still does not prohibit.
But you would fall on the side of what seems to be normal in law.
What's normal in Nigeria?
Nothing is normal in Nigeria, but you cannot justify a governor just coming out. We're not under military rule.
Yeah,
if we were under military rule, maybe then you could say, oh, it's a matter of sort of like dictatorship.
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Do you think that these citizens should sit down and wait for them to be attacked? I'm not
killed.
I'm not trying to say that what the Zamfara State Governor is good. I'm not siding with him, but I think I understand where he's coming from.
Oh, yes.
The government has failed. He knows that they have failed. He knows that he cannot protect his citizens. So what's he saying? Arm yourself, protect yourself, because in Nigeria, we have all become our own government.
Yes.
So I understand what he's saying. So for me, would I sit back and wait for these people? If I lived in Zamfara, my dear, I'll get it gone.
No, I will not wait for the license.
I will get a license and I will buy bazookas.
When you are gone, you are gone. Bazooka.
Bazookas. I can tell you.
You can handle
Please. So I hear you, Manny, and I'll come back to the times where we had the Sharia crisis in Kaduna State. And I remember that, at some point, yes, there was military intervention, but it got to the stage where people had to join forces. We had to get, and almost like a
vigilante group.
So no, it wasn't only. So it was almost like, okay, the southern part of Kaduna, they started using bows and arrows. Even up until Jazz said they would put fire in an arrow, shoot it, it go and land in somebody's house. We saw all of that happen, but that self-defense. Right? It was really, if not for the fact that a lot of people were able to defend themselves. Yes, there were military intervention, but before those military interventions got to us, yes, they had to get to that point where they picked up arms to be able to protect themselves. But getting guns now, as individuals around Zamfara, what is the implication, right, for what's it called? Will it really bring that security that they are?
Where are the guns going to come from?
No,
not even
they're going to be legal arms from arms.
Basically, when we talk about these guns, we're not expecting the Zamfara state government to give its citizens Kalashnikov or general multipurpose machine gun. It's this local it's a local gun. But for me, I think the criminal elements are more sophisticated. They carry out sophisticated weapons.
Yes.
And we are 2023 is around the line. We have to be very careful with the system because Zamfara state government are trying to apply. Because if you want to license guys' gun, don't be surprised. They might want to give it to their own boys to protect themselves during the 2023 election. So I would not advise that to play for now. What they should be doing right now is to ensure they mobilize the Nigerian police very effectively. Like I've rightly said many times, we have a transactional policing system. We don't have an effective policing system. Because when you look at the Nigerian police, about 371,000 personnel and men, over half of its personnel are protecting just the elites. In a state of insecurity in Nigeria, we have, if you think I'm joking, after this show, just stay on the express, you see them passing with the elites, 10, 20 mobile police protecting one man with our taxpayers' money. And we need to take a departure from centralized policing system because presently we are practicing a centralized policing system. We need to decentralize our policing system.
Yes. No, so we'll go on a very short break because I would like to touch on a little bit on that because I know even for the policemen that are detailed to influential people like you put them, I know that it is those people that are paying them their salary. Are you trying to tell me that they are still collecting? But let's take a break. It's true now. We'll be right back.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating. And successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on PlusTvAfrica.
All right, thanks for staying with us now. If you just tuned in, we are discussing this Prepare and Obtain Gun Declaration by the Zamfara State Government, and we have our guest, Dixon, with us. Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. So there are fears about the elections, yes, that is around the corner, that people are wondering that why now? Because that's that's the question that's been going around. Is it this, like a tactic to just, hide it under so that it is legally, like before where you give your thugs the guns, behind the scenes, but now you're making it legal so that it's not seeming like
sure.
oh no, they're trying to protect themselves, but at the end of the day we know what the so how do we even checkmate this, right? Well, if you were to give like a solution, to the government that is not thinking about this, everybody go get guns, what would have been the proper solution that you would have probably suggested to the Zamfara state government?
Well, for me, the first thing I would suggest to Zamfara state government is to carry out an assessment of the causative factors. How did they arrive at this stage? Because you can't provide a solution without knowing the root cause analysis. What is the root cause analysis? How did Zamfara state arrive at this stage? Zamfara state is a gold mining state, you understand? And we have a lot of illegal
mining activities
taking place in that place. And for you to succeed in your mining activities, you need to make sure that you make the state to be a conflict state, Most of these conflict entrepreneurs, what they are doing, they are capitalizing on the vulnerability of the state of insecurity in the Zamfara state. Because the vulnerability of the state government is the opportunity of this criminal element. First of all, what they need to do, having carried out an assessment of what really transpired, they need to start looking at multi-dimensional approach, because most people think military approach will eliminate the state of insecurity. No. When I was a soldier, what we do as a soldier just to go and destroy, the Nigerian army is not meant to repair, just to eliminate the enemy and the police go and clean up the place. So what they need to start looking now is that they need to ensure that they adopt a collective approach, that is a counter-insurgency approach. It has to deal with political approach, tactical approach from the military point of view, because counter-insurgency is a two-way coin. That is enemy-centric and population-centric. The enemy-centric aspect of it is the military. They will deal with the enemy. While the population-centric has to deal with the people, the politics, the politicians. We need to know what are their grudges, what is the problem, what do they want? You understand? So if we don't know the causative factors or the root cause analysis of this incident, we will not be able to project mitigation factors. But moving forward, I think the state government in Zamfara state should be looking at projecting effective security force within Zamfara state, and the state of insecurity will be mitigated.
It's very easy to get confused with the big grammar that you're speaking, because I'm sure it came with training for all the things that you've learned to know. When you say the enemy something and the population.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm just using gumption to tag along and try to understand what it means. When the governor says, I'm now speaking as a layman, when the governor says that we've lost control of security in this country, and I think you all need to take the powers into your hands, which really shouldn't be. And then as individuals, we know that at the end of the day, it may be a case of some animals are more equal than others. Some will have access, some will not have access. Even if that's the case of so what's the fate of the lesser man? Who doesn't? Do you understand what I mean?
I understand.
They put a law in place, or even if it were to go into effect, is what I'm saying. Some people will not have access to this ammunition, and the ammunition is not something that they're going to get legally, even if they give us licenses legally. Because who's going to release that much ammunition?
And guns are expensive.
In short, I mean, we watch movies all the time when they say it's all about weapons and making money from weapon trade and everything, and that they're always trying to sidetrack the legal route of getting these weapons to the right people. So if we were going to get the weapons to these Zamfara people, or anybody for that matter, and get it at such a short period of time, it probably wouldn't go through due process. So, which is why I'm saying that it's not everybody that will have access. It's the same elite that have the police standing by them. That will probably have, that will probably have pieces on them, and then the ones that seem to suffer first are still left on their own.
Well, you see, the battle begins from the mind. It's not about giving these guys the gun. Are they prepared? You understand? Because sometimes you come in line with enemy fire. You can't even find where the trigger is. You'll be confused. You can't even return fire to the enemy.
That was what she said.
So the guys you want to give this gun, are they prepared? Are they trained? Because most people think achieving security is all about arms and ammunition. It's not about arms and ammunition. If it's all about arms and ammunition, I tell you, Nigeria will be a better place. There are four things placed in the battlefield. This Shell acronym is known as the Shell acronym. This software, we need to start developing, looking into technological approach in our security mechanism. Because like Americans now, what they do is that instead of them to send a man to the enemy line, they send drones.
Guess what? We have them here. So that's why, we talked about this insecurity issue on the show, like, I don't know, a couple of months ago. And we talked about using drones. Drones is a very good option.
Oh, yeah.
You send the drones in, they find out where the enemy is, you eliminate it.
It
Guess what?
it detonates.
Because of the kind of country we live in, even when you send the drones to check them out and you find them and you know where they are, before you send the someone has told them, and
it's not only that. I mean, so remember the allegations, and here's the big issue now. Do you think the government truly are helpless about fighting insecurity in Nigeria, or
I don't think
they are looking away and letting these people thrive?
Yeah.
Because there were strong allegations when Arotile, the pilot, you remember when she came on board and she was going she was bombing all those enemy camps and all of that. You know, because till tomorrow, her death is still questioned. People are saying that a lot of, you know, because, I mean, we've had allegations. Let's not kid ourselves on this table. We've had allegations about how people will come out and say state governments are sponsoring these things and all of that. So, do you see this fight against insecurity truly like the government is helpless, or they are just choosing to look away from the situation?
By the grace of God, I think I was born into the family of the military. My father is a former soldier. He has 4 boys, 3 of us are soldiers. And what my father told me 25 years ago when I joined the military is to protect the territorial integrity of our fatherland. He loves this country so dearly. And to be very honest with you, sometimes I begin to think if truly the Nigerian army, I know is still the Nigerian army functioning till date. But let me just be honest with you, the Nigerian military has been politicized. And that is the truth. The Nigerian police has been politicized. Because I see no reason. Over 12 years, the Nigerian army has been engaging Boko Haram. 12 years. I see that as a friendly match.
Yeah.
I see it as a friendly match. Because in the early days, if there's an incident happening here in Victoria Island, and you ask the Nigerian army, to go and resolve that issue before you even take off.
In 10 seconds, it's gone.
These guys have disappeared. But yeah, they are bringing the attack to our military base. They are bringing the attack
to our doorstep.
To our doorstep. They are killing our soldiers every day, killing our officers every day, and nobody is talking about that. For me, I think the government should be held accountable with the space of insecurity because they are culpable. I must tell you the truth. Because it's resolvable.
So on one hand,
that is resolvable.
It is resolvable. On one, that's one hand. So what do we now start? What do we need to do with the citizens? Because, like you rightly said, I mean, I think Lady also mentioned it. You can't just give guns to people that are not trained mentally for combat, right? Yeah. So do we start to say, okay? Because I mean, this weekend, I found out there were things like spy police and all of that. So I hired one, and I felt so good. I was feeling myself.
No, she's not. We're talking about
now spy police. I'm not called military police. Spy police. So actually, they are trained.
Yeah. Yes.
You understand? So you can actually then have citizens being trained to, because you see, insecurity is a lot that happens. Before that or killing, I am telling you that they must have gone to survey. They know all the So who are the people that have the fifth sense to say they are scanning the environment? How are the citizens of the state or the tribesmen, how are they monitoring their environment? Yes. How are they noticing something different coming into their territory? Do you understand? So we can do all of those. We don't have to get to that point of guns. So how can we start to even help the citizens understand the situation, train them? You're smiling.
I think it's partly why. I think it's partly why. How do you know that people like
I didn't say anything. I'm just quiet. You're right. Yeah. You are just something else. For me, what I think, we already have these vigilantes. Now we have this Amotekun.
Which is what I just said.
You understand? Oh, you just said it. Yeah. We have these people, so I think instead of arming the citizens with guns, weapons that they cannot even control. We have issues in America where children go inside the room, take the gun and kill their parents. So imagine what we'll have. And Nigeria, I know we are very hot body. Yeah. We can't control it too. So I think if we have these vigilante groups armed and trained, and like Uwa just said now, open your eyes and observe your environment. You know when there's something that is not
normal. People
you understand? You know when someone comes in that is not supposed to be there. Yeah. So then you now fire.
And you can easily identify.
Yeah, I think that's the way.
Okay, you see, Nigeria is a sovereign state, and we have various departments to protect the territorial integrity of Nigeria. First of all, we need to start taking back our territory, making the governable space or governable for this criminal element. Because what this criminal element does is that they take their shelter in their governed space. They come to the city, they strike and go back to their governed space. We need to start making that governed space or governable for those criminal elements. Secondly, we have an intelligence agency in Nigeria. What are they doing? Because I think we need to overhaul our national intelligence agency. Intelligence agencies are supposed to, go into the enemy camp and begins to
but you know that they report to these people.
So this is what we've been saying. That, I mean, I get the knowledge from watching things like American movies when they start to watch enemy camps, using drones as well to monitor them, trying to identify who amongst the women and even children are really not civilians, carrying weapons and everything. Like she said, once they identify them, somebody is probably going to sabotage what the mission is at the end of the day, because Nigeria cannot say, in all the years that we've been having these issues, that they don't know where these people are, and that they cannot be cleared at once.
I agree.
So somebody or a group of people are actually benefiting from the fact that there's insecurity, and like you said, Zamfara being a gold mine place, and that with conflict being there, it makes it easier for them to loot the gold and maybe not even account for all the things that they're shipping out. So then in Nigeria, it's because we lack consequences. And there's really nobody taking it up, even when they say there are rules and there's government, there's really nobody making sure that consequences are effected to deter them from doing it over and over again, because they still keep benefiting. This gold that they are looting, I'm sure is part of, I'm just saying from what I know of Nigeria, is part of what is funding political aspirations.
Okay, you see, I agree.
My humble opinion.
Your opinions are truly humble. See, I think one of the major problems we're having over is accountability, both from the horizontal and vertical plane. People are not being held accountable when they leave office. Somebody will just come, chief of air staff, chief of army staff, inspector general of police, rule, and cannot give account of his men. Like in the United Kingdom some few years ago, a commander led his troop to Afghanistan due to mechanical error. About 14 soldiers died in an helicopter. The commander was sued and dismissed. Here we're not holding our military accountable. If we start holding our military accountable, I've said it many times, if you lose any of your family members in the military based on mechanical error, sue the Ministry of Defense. We need to start getting the Ministry of Defense sue them. Let them know that you cannot put your life on the line to serve Nigeria and you die like chicken. Our soldiers are training so hard and they are dying cheap. You don't train hard and die cheap. You train hard and die hard. So what we need to start looking is that we need to start holding people accountable. If we don't hold people accountable,
it's going to continue.
Trust me.
Why their lives not valuable enough for the government to fight for them?
What we're basically doing, we are rigmaroling. We just go around in circles.
Way forward.
Way forward, fantastic. Way forward, we need to first of all build a society. We need a societal attitude in our change. It begins with you and I, because most times these guys in government, come from somewhere. They don't just drop from society breeds them. You understand? So we need to start looking at societal attitudinal change. We need to start treating ourselves with courtesy. We need to start placing value on human lives. Here in Nigeria, human lives have no value. If you don't place value or premium on anything, you can't protect it. So we need to start placing values on human life, because even the Constitution, the topmost priority of the Constitution is the protection of human lives and its properties. Then also we need to build a formidable military. Look at what's happening in Ukraine, Russia, and the Russian invasion. What if Nigeria is under invasion? That's my question. Are you telling me these corps of military will be able to withstand the external aggression?
They will take off.
God will help us.
Yeah. So what we need
We can't be saying God will help us.
That's what you want to say.
I believe in divine protection.
I
believe in divine protection. Yeah.
That's why they always said there should be a revelation.
This is what we say in this country every
revolution,
time.
rather.
God will help us. God will help us. So what do you want me to say?
I believe in divine protection. But believing in divine protection does not mean you'll be of God. You need to be. The Bible says, watch and pray. Many years ago, watch. You have to be security conscious and pray. So here in our country, we pray.
Absolutely. Let's take some comments. This one says the war with Boko Haram is asymmetric. And for your information, the war against Boko Haram is almost over. We've been hearing that for a long time. And the issue of Zamfara is more of a civil war between Hausa and Fulani. No government in history has equipped the military like this government, and how come they are still failing? That's my question to the person that is sending this comment. Manny has some comments.
Okay. So
you want to comment on that? Go ahead.
Okay, the number of small arms in circulation in Nigeria in the hands of civilian non-state actors is estimated at 6.145 thousand, while the armed forces and law enforcement collectively account for 586,600 firearms. The report published earlier in the month. So since so many criminals already have guns, and so many people are already dying, making it apparent that our security agencies are overwhelmed, I think a South African style system is okay, where certain private guards are allowed to bear arms. So that's what we said about the vigilante and
so for the go ahead.
The last person that made that comment, you see, most people just think arms and ammunition can bring a
do you understand? Like you said that they bought the most equipment ever. Like, okay, so if you bought the most equipment, does that translate into a successful, peaceful, whatever security?
One of the problems we're having presently with the military, and I want this person that sent this message to understand, is that our operational strategy is very, very, very bad. We have a very, let me say, deformed operational strategy. Now, you put a soldier in the battlefield. You can't put a soldier in the battlefield more than 9 months. Here we have a country, you leave a soldier in the battlefield for 4 years, 5 years, and these soldiers don't come back home to reunite with their family. Now the rule of engagement is enlist the soldier and retain the family. Don't take our soldiers to the battlefield for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. It has marital benefits at home. Some of them come back home, their wives are pregnant for to another man. Some of them come back home deformed. How do you expect a soldier to engage this enemy? That is why most times when Boko Haram firepower comes, most of these soldiers begins to run because psychologically they've been demoralized. You know, the battle begins from the mind, like I rightly said. If your mind is not prepared, you cannot go. You cannot succeed in the battlefield. So the government needs to start looking at tactical strategy. We have a very big problem in our tactical strategy, and that is the truth.
Even aside from the tactical strategy, you remember, I think it was sometime last year that they were talking about all the funds that they were pumping into the military care and their welfare, and that it wasn't getting to them. That the soldiers that were at the battlefields were not getting the food or ammunition.
We've seen a general crying in the battlefield.
Happens.
Well, we've seen a general crying in the battlefield.
Yeah, you know, so I mean, it's interesting.
It's lack of consequences.
I mean, we talked about PTSD today.
Yes.
You know, in the US, as in, I went to San Antonio. I went to the military base there because my uncle's wife, she did 30 years in the military as a nurse. If you see the way the military is being treated, like I wished I was in the military. It was almost like, make a go find form. Where can I sign up? Because of, no, they complain. But I'm trying to tell you that value that you place on what he was talking about. Yes. You know, those things are very important. The psychological stability of these military guys is very important. So you cannot tell me, I have given you weapons and go and do the job. That's not how it works.
No, it doesn't work.
You know, it doesn't work that way.
It doesn't work that way because in the battlefield we have the land, we have the software, we have the hardware, and we have the liveware. The liveware are the human beings. How much are you paying a soldier in the battlefield? If I tell you that a soldier that is putting a soldier who puts his life on the line in the battlefield is not even taking up to 50,000 naira as an extra allowance in the battlefield, not even up to $100. So for me to put my life on the line, I think I should be well taken care of, just like who was saying when she traveled to the United States. But here, how well are we taking care of our soldiers? Go to Ikeja cantonment. In the past 5 years, they've not had lights. And you want to tell me that just like a few days ago, the military says they are going to send out demotivated or disgruntled soldiers.
Everybody is
disgruntled.
So they're going to
what are you telling me? Everybody is disgruntled. Because you cannot say you are putting your life to serve this country after spending 4 years in the battlefield, coming back home to reunite with your family, you come and live in darkness. They give them light from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. every night in the past 5 years. I, Dixon Osaji, I say that I'm saying it on live television. Are you telling me these are the kind of soldiers you want them to be motivated? No, it's very wrong. We need to start taking care of our military, take care of our police. Go to a police barrack in area F. If you put a British dog there, between 2 days, the British dog will die. Dirty environment. This is where they put our soldiers. This is where they put our policemen. The environment you went to in the United States, can you tell me about the environment?
Don't even go there.
It would have.
You can literally use your tongue to lick the floor.
Even the grass is.
I'm serious. I'm not exaggerating. No, but
you see movies. Even your eye who hasn't been there.
Manny, when next you visit the United States, look for any military base and just visit. If you.
I always visit.
So we need to start taking care of our military. We need to start taking care of our.
So let's take. Like you have a comment, yeah.
No comment here. Except
are you sure?
No comment.
So the Northeast, he knows, the Northeast, he known the most peace part of, I don't know what you're trying to say.
Okay, this one says, good evening, my dear and beautiful sisters. What are you saying? Wait. Prepare and obtain guns. I am against people using guns when they haven't been trained for combat. According to Sister Ua, as regards what happened to our war, if the members were equipped, they would have defended themselves. Self-defense is allowed because the security in the country is nothing to write home about. Nigeria has to wake up when it comes to security. My name is Daniel Ilo, Ways regular fan.
Thank you, Daniel.
So I was saying that it's about lack of consequences from the top to the bottom, as Buhari said, from top to bottom. Nobody has ever been put through court-martial after their service was done and you found fault with it. Yes. I don't think I have ever heard of them run a court-martial system in Nigeria. It's not something I've never heard about. And if these consequences were there for them at military level, at police level, because it's every service agent, it's not just the military. If they were held accountable and they were disciplined, in short, it's Nigeria as a whole.
You know, let me tell you, I was just going to say,
it's Nigeria as a whole.
When we talk about political corruption, financial corruption, the church, we talk about everything. It's the same issues in Nigeria. The same problems because we lack certain things. So I give up.
God help us, as you said.
Let's just agree that God help us, then we'll watch and pray.
If you were in charge of the military and you have the right today to change things, what would you do?
I will fire all the generals.
First.
Yes.
I will fire all the generals. Because we have too many generals that are being defeated by most these criminal elements. Go to different barrack generals here. Where are the strategies?
What are they doing?
What are you doing? And we have civilians.
You fire them, and then who do you use to do what you
I'll bring up new officers from the younger generation, train them, employ a lot of troops,
motivate them, give them
good lights, give them electricity, give them
food, give them money. Thank you so much. We ran out of time.
Pay them like 1 million naira a month.
Yes, they're deserving of it. Thank you so much. It's always fun having you.
Graduates even join.
Yes,
I will join the army.
I will join the army. Before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram. It's our PlusTvAfrica. You can interact with us further, drop a comment, and more importantly, follow all our engagements on social media. Like, share, invite your families and friends to watch and follow the conversation. Now, if you missed today's Coach Heritage again, if you can't go to the borders and fight against the enemy, then unite and do something for your country. This is a time where we all need to come together and put our heads together. You know, get all the experts. We have them within our country. Let's find a solution to insecurity. We'll see you guys live tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen. Enjoy.
Hello again. How are you? Welcome to the fitness section of today's show. As always, I'm Dolly Phillips at Alpha Fitness Studios in Lekki Phase 1, and I have my trusty stool here. So quickly, grab your dining table chair, your stool, anything, because we're going to be using it throughout. As always, we're going to start with a quick warm-up. Are you ready? Have you got your chair? Yes? Let's go. Deep breath in and out. 2 more and out. 1 more. And out. Those shoulders rotate. 8, 7, 6, 5, forward, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's open up those hips because we're using the legs today. 1, 2, good. 3, and 4. Let's reach up to the ceiling and touch our toes for 4. Wake up the entire body. 3, very good. 2, last 1, and time. Okay, so first one, we're tapping, all right? And your time starts now. Let's go tapping. Tap. 1, 2. Bring those knees up high. 3, good. 4, have fun with this one. 5, that's the only way. 6, come on. 7, entire body working here. Come on, let's work. 8, come on. 2 more, 1 more, and time. Super. So now we're going to touch the top and the bottom. Go as low as you can. If you can't go so low, that's fine, but push your bum out. All right, let's go. Top and tail. Let's go. Up and down. Push that bum back. Good. Protect the knees. Awesome. Up and down. Let's go. Up and down. That's it. Up and down. Keep going. Last one. And time. Now, what are we doing? We're going to kick over. Are you ready? We're working those abs. Come on. Ready? Let's go. Woo! Woo! Come on, kick higher. Even if the stool is low, kick way higher. Come on. We're working the abs here. Good job. Good balance here. Good control. Awesome. You have 4 seconds left. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to jump forward and back. It's a hard one. If you can't jump, step forward and back. Are you ready? Let's go. I'm jumping. Yes, that's it. Let's put some cardio in there. Come on, get the heart racing. That's it. If you can't jump, crab walk. That's it. If you can't jump, this is your workout right here. Last one. And time. Awesome. Last one. Sit down and stand up. Push that bum back. Remember, tap and up. Don't sit down. Just tap. That's it. Good job. And tap. And up. And tap. My cameraman is working as well. I love it. Come on. Tap. And up. 5 more seconds. Yes. 2 more. Beat the time. 1 more. And up. Awesome. Okay, quick stretch, and then we're done. In. All the way down to your toes. Come on. Woo. And in. All the way down to the toes. 1 more. In. Breathe in through your nose, and out through your mouth. Hands on the hips, and reach over. 4, 3, 2, 1. Other side. 4, 3, 2, 1. This one down to the toes. Slide down those thighs. Try. Drop your head, stretch your back. 8, 7, 6, 5. All back of the legs. Stretching here. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bend your knees and roll up. Shoulder rolls. And forward. 2 deep breaths in. Down to the toes. Last one. And out. Awesome. Awesome work, guys. So thanks for joining me again, and I'll see you very soon. Bye-bye.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. No question. He's a living legend. Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV. Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
On the breakfast, following the resignation of Justice Tanko Mohammed as the Chief Justice of Nigeria on Monday, the President, Major Muhammadu Buhari, retired, swore in Justice Olukayode Ariwola as the acting Chief Judge of Nigeria. Also on the breakfast, vote buying must be checkmate to guarantee the rights of the people to freely exercise their democratic franchise. We would be looking at ways at which this menace can be curbed. And as always, we'll be reviewing the pages of our national dailies. Good morning, welcome to The Breakfast on PlusTvAfrica. I am Messi Bopo. Now, as always, we start off with a top trending conversation making the rounds this morning on the front pages of the national dailies, and also, on our top trending is the fact that you have Justice Tanko Mohammed resigning as the CJN, and that's also what a lot of Nigerians have been talking about. Now, if you go on Twitter and other spaces, you would see different reactions. Some people are saying the leadership and at the time of Justice Tanko Mohammed has not been very pleasant, and a lot of Nigerians have called up different judgments, different Supreme Court judgment, especially during the elections. I mean, you want to make reference to that of Imo State, you want to talk about what happened in Rivers State, you want to talk about what happened in Bayelsa State. Some people are saying, hey, this has never really been good. A lot of conspiracy theories has been thrown out and, put out right there. But very interesting, which is, you want to say that it calls for that particular concern, is the issue that has been put. It might interest you to know that the justices of the Supreme Court had accused. Now, this letter is actually in the public space. So you have justices of the Supreme Court of Nigeria accusing the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Ibrahim Tanko Mohammed, of corruption. Now, the justices reiterated the fact that they are serving this country diligently to the best of their abilities, and as such, they deserve the best compared to how they have been treated by the present, justice or judge, however you want to put it. And so you have this letter that was put out. The justices reminded the chief judge of the facts, or the chief justice of the fact that there are resolved disputes between executive and the legislative, including all manner of disagreements between government and individuals, and how it would be very saddening that Nigerians would get to know about the fact that they're unable to resolve their issues. So they demanded that the Justice act before it's too late, as all efforts in the past to resolve their complaints have yielded no result. So this justice recalled that Tanko Mohammed reluctantly called a justice meeting on the 23rd of March 2022 after several persistence and requests to hold the meeting. And this justice recalled that their meeting on the 23rd of March, they tabled and discussed the following issue: justice accommodation, vehicles, electricity tariff, supply to diesel, internet, and a lot of other issues that you want to look at the front burner. But basically, it's the fact that he's been accused of corruption, high-handedness, and not being able, to listen to the people and attend to their needs, and that's a lot. So the question has been put out. A lot of persons are saying, with citing health issues as the reason for his resignation, should we take that, with a pinch of salt, or should we really, really take that it's about his health issues and challenges that he probably might be faced with? Or is it related to the fact that, there's been accusation? It's an accusation until it's been proven by a court of competence jurisdiction. So that's where it is. So there's a lot that's unfolding. But really, Nigerians have not been very pleasant. I mean, the comments that you see on Twitter, the comments you see on Facebook, and general comments about the leadership of Tanko Muhammad is not fantastic, especially when it has to do with his leadership, what has transpired, the judgments of the Supreme Court over time. I mean, as some people will say, how do you have someone who's scored lower, becoming, a governor of a state? We're talking about the situation in Imo State right now. But that's on the one hand. But we need to move away from that because we have other issues also on the front burner of a trending conversation. Now, another of that concern is very sad, very saddening if you ask me. And then I ask the big question, where is humanity? Where has humanity gone? What happens to our conscience? What happens to us? Do we even think about the next person as a human being? So it's reported that you have headers killing a man over cow's death. And 2 yet to be identified cattle herders on Monday, that's yesterday, reportedly stabbed a man to death in a protest against the killing of a cow around the Badagry area of Lagos State. And I saw that picture. Very sad. Angered by the development, the headers accosted the driver and demanded payment for the cow's death. It was then that the request for payment led to an argument that generated into a fight as the headers stabbed the victim. According to this report, an eyewitness giving the report, asking that there should be confidentiality, saying that, this led to the victim's death and to the clash between the headers and the motorist. So in all of this, because we live as a people, you have different upbringing, you have different experience, you have the police also making a statement to that particular effect. You can see that on the screen as well. But what we're asking and what Nigerians would definitely ask is that this issue should be investigated and those responsible for this should be brought to book. And that's on the one hand, very, very important. But let's also look at, the issues surrounding this allegation and this issue, right? So let's even say that there's something to go by, okay? It's been confirmed and it's true. Let's say that this is something to go by. What should be, obtainable? What should be expected at this point in time? That your cow is dead because something happened, and that's a reason why you should stab another human. I mean, another person like you. We're talking about a cow, and that's a cow that we get to eat on different bases. I mean, different times for those who actually eat meat, right? Red meat, So we're saying a cow. That's a cow, and there's a human being. You stab another human being. We need to come back to the fact that we're humans, first of all, before we're anything. And I really don't know, but compassion, empathy, understanding, trying to put ourselves together before we begin to act irrational. Because, how do you choose a cow over a human being? I'm just saying, if there's something to go by. We can see the picture there, cows on the floor, dead. It's as good as saying you can get buyers, people to buy it. I'm just saying, that's a cow. It will be eaten by a human being. But you kill a human being over a cow. Wow. And that's it on our top trending. But also, that's generated different reactions among Nigerians. No time, so we're going to go through all of the comments that you have. You also have another on a top trending, that siblings drown in a swimming pool. Sad. So there's been several stories and reports of having adults and children drowning in the pool, a swimming pool, if you want to put. It's really, really sad. But it brings us back, to the issue of paying attention and how we should be responsible for the things that actually happen. Unfortunately, we're unable to bring you, the details of what transpired. But at the end of the day, is that in all that we do, we'll never forget that we're humans, first of all, and our humanity, it's important. It feels like we've lost that. So every other time, I don't know what it is that we think about in our daily interaction. As parents, it's also important that we take responsibility for those we have around us, our children, even if they're not our children biologically, they're also those in our care, and it's important that we pay attention to them. And that's it this morning on our Top Trending. We'll take a break. When we return, it'll be time for us to go through the front pages of our national dailies. We have Chris Kende Nwandu, who joins us on the show. Stay with us.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment of winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, PlusTvAfrica, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on PlusTvAfrica.
Praise God, from whom all blessings flow. Welcome to your favorite program, The Moment of Truth, brought to you by the Citadel Global Community Church. Our God is a God of salvation, far above all principality and power, and might and dominion, that regardless of what happens in this season, you will escape. Say to your neighbor, there is no peace for the wicked. The lazy man does not roast what he took in hunting, but diligence is a man's precious possession. Finally, my brethren, be strong in the Lord and in the power of his might.
Moment of Truth with Pastor Tunde Bakare, Sundays, 7 p.m. on PlusTvAfrica.
It's not just the parents that have to do this. We put a lot of emphasis on government, we put a lot of emphasis on schools, but the service sector is completely left out of this conversation, and it's really important because they touch the families every day.
When we are making intervention, at the back of our mind,
that plan that you're drawing up should also say on X amount of times or hours, you as the parents have to have X number of training.
Not just about the training, okay? So as we're collecting data in the center, you're collecting data at home. We give you the exact same plan.
From my own experience is that the children are usually the best advocates.
Absolutely.
Because the children have been informed and they have also experienced it, we find that they tend to go home and tell their parents the appropriate things to do.
politicizing our humanity. You see, Nigeria today has become a den of unknown gunmen. And I say that because for every new report you see now, any news, anything, you see unknown gunmen kills 20, unknown gunmen kidnaps 50. So any small thing is unknown gunmen, and the level of insecurity in the country today has risen. So today we no longer ask whether our lives are, and properties are secured. We only ask who is next to be killed or kidnapped. We check and we see, okay, whose family is next? Which family is going to be thrown into mourning? So right now, Nigerians are only waiting, and we're waiting and saying, whose turn is it going to be? The level of insecurity in the country has become extremely worrisome. The lapses created by government, by the inaction of government. Government had the opportunity to nip this insecurity in the bud. When it started, it started like play. It wasn't this bad. It wasn't this bad. But now, because of government's inaction, we are caught up, and it seems as if there's nothing that we can do about it again. So now it is even worse. It is worse that we as citizens are not making enough noise about the right things. We are concerned about some other things. So despite the worrisome state of our dear nation, the plague of politicizing any little thing, we are quick to say, now this party they run amo, now this party they do amo, is because of this party. And so right now, we are trivializing the problems and the challenges that we are facing as a nation. So there are talks all over social media claiming that the violence and actions leading to the high level of insecurity, which now threatens our very existence, are sponsored. Members of the ruling and opposition parties have thrown all caution to the wind, and they exchange blames. It is this party, it is that party, rather than just actually recognizing terrorism for what terrorism is and taking actions to stop the incessant killings and kidnappings, which is threatening the very existence of Nigerians. We must stand united or fall divided. We must stand united. Nigeria is at the very brink. We are at the very brink of war. And I don't think we are saying this enough. I think everyone is just looking at, okay, maybe because the thing never touched me, make we just look at, and everyone is just playing with the situation. The situation has become so dire and would worsen if we do not join voices and actions and implore the government to take decisive actions to protect the lives and properties of the people. We must educate and reorientate ourselves. We must advocate for peace and tolerance. Negative and irresponsible tribal comments, it has no other thing to do than to incite violence. So it breeds this intolerance that we have for ourselves, and this tribe will say, now these people, if these people come out, we could get peace and all of those things. And then we wonder why some people are killing another tribe, and why another tribe is killing another tribe. So I feel we must be able to preach peace and preach unity, if at all we want to see the end of this insurrection. I have always said this, and I think this is time to say it again. In terms of, if we're talking about security, I think the time for decentralization is now. The power that the federal government wields as far as security is concerned is too much. And it would seem that even that power now is overwhelming, such that they don't even know what to do with the power again. Assign state governments with the task of security responsibilities. Yes, at federal government level, there are some powers that you cannot just take away. But let the security apparatus in the police, security operatives that you have, let them be responsible to state governments. Let state governments take charge. Let them take charge. A governor of a particular state will not be looking at while his state is burning, and the governor is crying to federal government to come and help. So what then is the duty, and what then is the work of the state government? we had mentioned earlier, but I'm just going to chip in again, that religious leaders have a role to play. You find religious leaders being totally irresponsible and reckless with the comments that they make, knowing fully well the power that you wield as a religious leader, knowing fully well the hundreds of thousands, perhaps millions of people that listen to you and take your word as law. You need to be very careful. You need to be cautious of how you urge people on, because comments that you make in ways incite violence against perhaps other religions, and then you have this religion attacking this religion. Oh, they attacked us first. Oh, they attacked us first. So I think now is the time for our religious leaders to come together and preach peace, and tolerance is very important. So once again, I would say conclusively that I think we need there's never been a time to call for peace and to call for tolerance and to call for unity as now, using our voices, using our platforms to advocate for peace. Because at the end of the day, like I said, it's just turning and turning and turning, and Nigerians are just looking at who is the next person to fall victim.
Designs is a fashion accessory label that specializes in the design and creation of handcrafted bags and footwear. I knew I was going to do something in fashion. I didn't know what exactly it was going to be, but I knew I would be in fashion. If it used to be the cleaner in fashion, whatever, but I have to be in fashion. When we started off with just strictly bag making. But then you get people say, oh, can I get a matching shoe? And then over time, people say, oh, I would like to give my boyfriend a wallet, but I want it with Ankara or something. So over time, we had to listen to our customers and infuse their ideas into our brand. Okay, we wanted something with the African touch, with the Nigerian feel. We make leather bags, but if I'm making a leather bag and I put it in a store, if you don't know Hesse Designs is Nigerian, you probably think it's a foreign bag. So what's the point of promoting something that is not, if you look at, you can't link it to Africa, you can't link it to Nigeria. When there's something to promote Africa, when there's something to promote Nigeria, we also want to empower our artisans here. So that's why we keep our content local, raw materials local, production local. We still get a lot of people from around the world ordering from our website. So I believe it's because of what we've built, the brand we've built over time, that still speaks for us. In the last 3 years, we've done over 10,000 items. We've sold over 10,000 items to both corporate clients, retail clients, and wholesale clients.
The World Health Organization states that close to 800,000 persons die by suicide yearly. Every 40 seconds, at least one person is likely to commit suicide. Nigeria has Africa's highest caseload of depression and ranks 15th in the world in the frequency of suicide. World Suicide Prevention Day is a global public health day celebrated on September 10th, which is aimed at commitments and actions to prevent suicide all over the world through various activities and to help raise awareness among people to prevent their loved ones from suicide and mental disorders. The theme of this year's World Suicide Prevention Day is creating hope through action, which reflects the need for collective action to address this public health issue. According to the training coordinator of a non-governmental organization, Suicide Research Prevention Initiative, suicide rate in Nigeria is underreported or miscoded. This is because suicide is a criminal offense. With the shortage of mental health care personnel, cultural and religious beliefs about mental health and suicide stigma. Some have a misconception of suicide. It is important to not blame suicide victims.
Sometimes when people just sit down and just make statements like those that have attempted suicide, or those that have killed themselves, that they are worthless, they are sinners. No, you shouldn't say such a thing. We as a society, we should begin to build a culture of compassion where we show empathy to people, listen to people not judgmentally, to understand them from their point of view rather than just to respond to them.
She said with love and support, along with professional help, suicide can be prevented.
Send them to professionals where they can be properly evaluated, assessed, know the root cause of why they are even suicidal. Suicide is an end thing. It's a bigger picture, but you need to know what this person is even suicidal. And of course, if it's depression is treatable. If it is pain, is it the kind of pain that can be managed? There are painkillers, there are even surgeries to even regulate pain, and there are even non-medication treatment for some of these illnesses. Meditation, yoga, some form of exercises and all that. So it's very key that we put all this on board. Let's not demonize people that have completed suicide. Let's not see them as bad people. Let's not see them as evil people, because anybody can be suicidal depending on your challenges, what you face, and of course from your past experiences.
Given the socio-economic situation in the country, many citizens are reaching their breaking points with the conclusion that they are better off dead. There is therefore an urgent need for both governments and society to pay attention to medical challenges and socio-economic constraints that could trigger people to take their own lives.
World Day Against Child Labor, held annually on June 12, is an international day to raise awareness and prompt action to stop child labor in all its forms. The International Labour Organization launched the first World Day Against Child Labor in 2002 as a way to highlight the plight of these children. The day is intended to serve as a catalyst for the growing worldwide movement against child labor and provide an opportunity to gain support from governments, civil society, schools, youth and women's groups, as well as the media in the campaign against child labor. Child labor is the employment of children in any work that deprives children of their childhood, interferes with their ability to attend regular school, and that is mentally, physically, socially, or morally dangerous and harmful. Therefore, the day seeks to alert the public to the fact that many children are forced to work every day when they should be in school to learn and to build a better future for themselves and their families. The World Day Against Child Labor aims to promote the rights of all children to be protected from child exploitation and other violations of their fundamental human rights, as well as combat all types of child labor. Child labor is rampant in many developing countries. Even in industrialized nations, many children are forced to work. According to figures available on the United Nations website, approximately 152 million children have been pushed into child labor. Out of the 152 million, around 72 million are involved in hazardous work. The data also reveals that around 48% victims of child labor are aged between 5 to 11 years old, 28% are aged between 12 to 14 years old, and the remaining 24% fall in the 15 to 17 years bracket. This year's World Day Against Child Labor focuses on action taken for the 2021 International Year for the Elimination of Child Labor, and will also focus on efforts to drive progress during the International Year, with a week of action raising the voices of International Labour Organization constituents and the many partners engaged in the struggle against child labor in all regions of the world.
Welcome back to The Breakfast and Plus TV Africa. It's time for Off the Press. We apologize for bringing Off the Press a little bit behind schedule. Chris Kende Nwandu joins the conversation. Chris, it's good to have you join us this morning.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
All right, then let's start off with the Leadership newspaper. Looking at the Leadership, Ariwola is the new Chief Justice of Nigeria as Tanko quits 18 months to retirement. You probably would say a year and some months right there. Now, underneath, you have several riders. Cite ill health. Award at GCON. Ariwola promises not to disappoint Nigerians. NBA sets reforms agenda for the AG and Chief Justice of Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari first to produce 3 Chief Judges in 7 years. I'm sorry, excuse me. Away from that, organ donors age. Ekweremadu's wife sues NIMC, NIS, and others. Irabo Gumi kicks us Akeredolu backs Matawale for arms. Irabo Gumi kicks us Akeredolu backs Matawale for arms. And petrol subsidy. Nigerians faces high economic risks and fiscal deficits. This is what experts are quoted to say. Fresh voter registration hits 10.4 million. Interesting. 1 year after, police nab suspected killer of who, found that on the Leadership. We have taken 10 drugs baron out of circulation. Was quoted on that, and that's on the Leadership. Quickly, we'll run through the Nation newspaper. This morning, looking at the Nation newspaper, suspected memory disorder forced ex-Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko, to quit. Interesting. Because there's been a lot of comments and reaction following his resignation on the issue of, health. Justice Ariwola steps in as acting Chief Justice of Nigeria. Away from that, you have PDP threatens Obasanjo for attacking Atiku. Did he attack Atiku? That's another question. And CDS Irabo, governors lack powers to order arms bearing by citizens. Another one says Ekweremadu's wife sue NIMC, NIS banks orders over organ donors age. Well, that's it this morning on the Nation newspaper. There are more interesting headlines. For the want of time, we'll just move away quickly. Now let's look at the Punch newspaper. On the Punch, Supreme Court crisis and BA1's ex-Chief Justice of Nigeria probe Ariwola sworn in. Workers demand autonomy. The ex-Chief Justice of Nigeria probes necessary for justice administration, says the NBA chapters. We have been vindicated. Justices are awake from slumber. Fine, who's saying all of that? And no allegation should be swept under the carpet. Civil society organization insists. Fuel subsidy refinery rehabilitation gobs 1.3 trillion naira in 5 months. And MP is quoted. And federal government rakes in over 2 trillion naira from marginal oil fields sale. You'll find Tinubu's men were parties without presidential candidates and others. Ekweremadu, federal government probes organ donors' data and privacy breach. Proposed tariff hike may increase telecoms voice revenue to 1.56 trillion naira, NCC is quoted. And INEC registration hits 10.4 million new voters. But that does not translate into, votes, casting votes. 306,489 tested positive for HIV in 2021, says the NACA. Jam to probe CBT centers over extortion and threats and threatens fine. That's also another one you find this morning. Amoteku, others should transform to state police. Afenifere is quoted on that. And 2 headers arrested for killing Lagos man over crushed cow. Very, very inhuman and sad. Lagos developers defraud 70 house seekers and victims faint. Some of the headlines you find this morning on the Punch. Away from that, quickly We'll just take one or two headlines this morning on the Daily Independent. Now, how Supreme Court justices force Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Muhammad, out of office. So it feels like, the Daily Independent and the Punch newspaper might just be, reporting the exact situation. Buhari swears in Ariwoola as acting Chief Justice of Nigeria. Confers National Award on the ex-Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Muhammad. The new Chief Justice of Nigeria denies division among justices of Supreme Court, and NBA asks the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria to rebuild confidence in the judiciary. Lawyers urges EFCC to investigate Justice Tanko Muhammad. Now, there are a lot of interesting headlines on the Daily Independent. We'll just take one or two and move away. Southern Middle Belt leaders decry rising insecurity, ask federal government to act fast. Nigeria edging closer to winning war against drug abuse. The vice president is quoted on that. We will strengthen SEC to reposition Nigeria's capital market. Chief of Defense Staff faults Zamfara governors over guns for resident. Akeredolu supports Matawale on guns for resident and state police. Nigeria's aviation industry may face a bleak future. Police paraded suspected killer of Ahmed Gulak. And that's it this morning on the Daily Independence and all the papers. We have Chris Kende-Wando who joins the conversation. Chris, it's good to have you join us this morning. Let's have you share your thoughts. Quite interesting, dominating all of the papers this morning. Would also be a crux of our conversation as we proceed. Ariwoola is new Chief Justice of Nigeria as Tanko quits 18 months to retirement. Now and also the reason for this is on health grounds. Amid the accusation of justices of the Supreme Court. How do you react to this?
Thank you very much once again for having me. I don't even know what to say because what we are getting is we're having a lot of congestion and all sorts of information coming in. But for me, Messi, I just believe that some people are just trying to cover up and just try to give the Chief Justice, retired Chief Justice, a soft landing. And that is what I see happening. Don't forget that the way and manner this same Chief Justice came into office was also a bit controversial. Before him was Justice Walter Onomahen, and who was accused of some kind of corruption, and before you knew it, he was removed by the government. And Justice Tanko took over. Now, the same issue of corruption is being leveled against the outgoing Chief Justice. And rather than the anti-corruption agencies and the government to do this, they've gone ahead to give him, even awarding the GCON, the second highest honor in Nigeria. That speaks volume, and that also speaks about the fight against corruption and the general belief in some quarters that some people are just sacrificed in this country who can do whatever they want to do and get away with it. But the need for me there is that Dr. Tanko Muhammad has finally resigned his position some few months before the end of his tenure, and we have a new sheriff on the saddle now, and I hope that we'll be able to sanitize the judiciary as it were, because there is a lot of things happening within the judiciary. The judiciary is supposed to be the last hope of the common man, seems to have lost his voice, and also seems to have lost the confidence of the people. And I hope that the new Chief Justice will be able to do this. Let Justice Muhammad resign, let him go and rest, as it were. And you know that for the next days, weeks, and months, this story will not be buried, because as some of the newspapers are saying this morning, the NBA has come out to say that his tenure should be probed. There was serious allegations by 14 justices of the Supreme Court, not from any quarter, but from his colleagues. 14 of them wrote a petition about some level of journalism. I think that should be investigated. That shouldn't be swept under the carpet, under the belief that he just resigned over health issues. That, to me, is the worrisome part of it.
All right, Chris, let's also look at the Daily Independent newspaper. On this one, the Chief of Defense Staff faults Zamfara government over calls or over guns for residents. And that's on the one hand. Now, you also find on the other part of it where you have Southern Middle Belt leaders decry the rising insecurity and ask the federal government to act very fast. You also have, on the other hand as well, some quarters that are supporting the Zamfara state government for saying, hey, you're taking arms, asking that citizens be empowered to defend themselves. What do you make of all of the situation? First of all, the fact that you have a Chief of Defense Staff not been in support of all of that, and also the fact that it's okay to actually own a gun as long as it's legal in Nigeria. So what do you make of this situation?
Legally, the Chief of Defense Staff is right. The governor of Zamfara State has no legal right to direct the police to issue licenses to anybody that's interested in having a gun to arm themselves against bandits. Issue of police is within the exclusive list of the Constitution, Federal 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So no governor has any right to give any directive. So that directive will come from the federal government. So once that is not given, then it's as good as dead on arrival. Two, is the fact that I personally, I am not in support of that, because you are talking about people taking up arms and then going to pick gun. How are you sure that the same people that you are saying to go and pick up gun, some of them, those guns will not find will not get into the hands of bandits as well? How are you sure so that some of these bandits will not also use that opportunity to pick up arms? That is it. Let's see, the issue of armed guns is not something that is still believed. Even advanced countries like the United States is doing something currently to be able to prevent the issue of arms. You will see that just 3 days ago, the legislation was passed in the Congress in the United States, I think also in the Senate, where the use of arms, a certain section of that act that has been amended to prevent people from just picking up, because in the last few weeks, we have seen the number of killings in the United States. This is an advanced country where they know the power of this thing, and they're not finding it funny. That is where people just walk into school and just shoot children and just kill them. Some go to their former places of work and just kill people. Some walk into supermarket and give. So the issue for me is not just allowing anybody to carry arms. But on the reverse, what will happen is the total collapse of governance. The duty of the government is the protection of life and property. And when they cannot be able to do that, then you know that government has failed. What we are seeing now is a total failed state. It's not the likelihood of it. It's a total failed state. We are the people who feel so insecure that they just have to now devise means of self-help. And don't forget, the governor several times have come to say that my people are being killed. It's happening in Zamfara, it's happening in Zamfara, it's happening in Benue, it's happening in Kaduna State, it's happening in so many parts of the country. And the federal government, who is supposed to be able to handle issues like this, seems helpless. President Muhammadu Buhari was elected in 2015 because he was a general, and people felt that as a retired general, he had the capacity to be able to secure Nigerians. That's what I've been saying. I will not worse than what we had before, but the government spokesperson will always tell you that we're much better now. But for me, I don't think that is the right to do.
So Chris Kende, let's also look at this now. It's going to be like a two-in-one question. The first is the fact that you say that government, the government does not have a right to ask citizens to acquire a gun, and you can't also take out the fact that as a Zamfara state government, he's the chief security officer of a state. We understand that security is in the exclusive list, but how do you also take out the fact that he can fold his arms and watch his people being killed? That's on the one hand. On the other hand, as much as we want to talk about firearms and this act, it provides for license of possession of firearms, but it does not prohibits. It also guarantees the right of possession of these arms by private citizens. Citizens. That's what it means. So how do we explain all of this now?
Mercy, there was also some level of insecurity in southwest Nigeria.
But these are actually facts, Chris Kende Wandu.
No, I'm justifying what you say. I agree with you. I'm just trying to lay a background. I said there have been some level of insecurity also in the southwest of Nigeria, where bandits and kidnappers and the rest of them when we are going into and killing people in various parts of the southwest. What did the government of the southwest do? They established a local security outfit known as Amotekun. And I'll tell you that that outfit has been able to do a lot of things. That is a regularized, that kind of outfit is a bit, can be monitored. So there's the mechanism to monitor the arms we give the operatives and how it's being used. So the government, I'm expecting the governor of Zamfara State to also follow that route. There is nothing stopping that government from enacting a law, that if they don't have already, where they can be able to set up a state security outfit. That is one hand. Secondly is what we're also be talking about, state police, where over the years we've thought that the centralized security within the federal structure is not working, where a police commissioner has to take a directive from the IG in Abuja before he can act, where the military heads within the various sectors or within the various states or command have to wait for authority from the chief of army staff, chief of air staff, or chief of naval staff in Abuja. Will automate that at times even to deploy soldiers. It's not just the chief of army staff that can give that guarantee. It is the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria. So if there's an attack somewhere now, and we need to deploy the military, the army, we have to get the permission and approval of the president. That is where the problem is. What we should be looking at, Mercy, is let us tinker with this constitution that is not working. The 1999 constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria is not working. And that is one of the problems we're having. Why the governor of the state cannot give a command to commissioner of police and he's supposed to be the chief security officer of the state. That to me is the problem. There are several instances where they give that directive and they have to wait for the inspector general of police in Abuja to be able to give them directive. So those are the issues. So I think the problem for us is constitution first and foremost. Then also the government in the various states also thinking out of the box and not just waiting and saying, oh, I'll give you arms to go and defend yourself, go and pick up arms and the rest of them. That in itself is going to create so much problem that at the end of it, for those arms given to these people cannot be retrieved. And let me give you a classical example of what has been happening. You will see that during every election cycle, politicians hand over guns to their thugs and to their boys to be able to prosecute this election for them. Once that at the end of the election, they cannot retrieve those guns from those boys. And those boys go into the streets because they are not being empowered any longer to use it to cause mayhem, to use it to rob people, and use it to kill. So we cannot continue this way. For me, the solution is not just asking people to go and pick up arms. If you pick up arms, what happens? That also will bring them in confrontation with police because the president has given a directive that anybody seen with an AK-47 or a gun should be shot. Are you saying that the president? Yes, that's what the president said. I'm sure you're aware of that. So does it mean that these people have been armed? The police may take advantage of that and keep people just for arming themselves. So I think it's much more of a legislative matter, and also these governors and our chief security officers, as they are, thinking out of the box and liaising with the federal government to find a lasting solution to issue of insecurity in the country. But for me, it's a total failure of leadership, and I put this blame squarely on the table and on the president.
So, I mean, as much as you have, the president giving that particular order, but you also need to look at the laws of the land, not prohibiting any, citizen or individual of having access to a gun. So as much as it's not a right, there's no way that it also states that you can't actually be armed. That's on the one hand. Now, on the other side, we're talking about, having a licensed gun now. They're also, on the other hand, what stops the government? I mean, when we talk about, the governors being the chief security officers of their state, why are they called chief security officers? Why can't they take their decision? I mean, apart from the fact that they need to, because usually the reference is that they need to give instructions to the commissioner of police in their various state, can then not take the discretion of handling their security issues as chief security officers of their state? I mean, should they fold their arms and, wait for the center to act until they act? So why are they being called chief security officers of their state if they cannot act in their own discretion?
I've told you, Mercy, that the governors have power to be able to set up, have a legislation passed by the various state houses of assembly where they can set up security outfits. I've said that. So the governor's hands is not tied. Forget the fact that the police...
So it's limited to certain security architecture, that's what we're saying. I mean, the powers that they have is just limited to certain security outfits.
It is, in fact, yes, that's what the law says. It is. And we cannot be able to do anything that is unconstitutional. Right, yes, people have the right as individuals to be able to get gun. They'll be profiled. It's enshrined in the Constitution. They'll be profiled. If they find that they are worthy to be able to give that gun, fine, all well and good. They'll be issued. But don't also forget that several times you see the government and the police issuing that everybody that have guns should return them, that all licenses have been revoked, that people should return their guns. That's even those that have legitimate guns. That becomes a problem for me. You can see that is contradictory. Because every now and then you see the police, everybody, all the licenses have been cancelled. It has been, everybody should return their gun to the police and the rest of them certain period. For me, I think, and I still repeat that, asking people to go and pick up gun and be dividing themselves is going to cause more problem than not. The government know what to do. The security agencies have the capacity to handle this issue. But what we are having is we don't have the political will to be able to do it. And I personally believe that some people are benefiting from this insecurity. And that is why it's thriving. The day the president decides that an end will be put to the issue of insecurity in Nigeria, the day that our political leaders decide that an end will be put to the end of insecurity in Nigeria, Mercy, I will tell you that it will stop. Let me even take it a bit further. How many of the people that have been arrested for banditry, for kidnapping, for killing have been prosecuted? All the so-called Boko Haram, what do? We say they are repentant Boko Haram. We issue them, we give them money. We issue them with SIM card. We pat them at the back and ask them to go. That in itself is becoming a problem because until you make people to be able to realize what the crime they've committed and make sure they are prosecuted, we cannot get anywhere. The federal government said that 30 people were arrested for aiding Boko Haram and insurgency. The federal government said it, the Attorney General of the Federation mentioned it. Mercy till today have those people be prosecuted. In Dubai, it took just less than 1 week for them to prosecute those that were seen to be financing insurgency in Nigeria. They were prosecuted and then be jailed. But in Nigeria, we continue to pay this. And that is why I say...
Chris, we have to go now at this point. We're being prompted to move away for the want of time. But, the question here still lies, I'm wondering, why would the governors be limited to an order, the center? When you are governor of a state, you are in charge of the state. You practically live in the state and you feel the pulse of the people and you see what goes on. Why should they be limited to just setting security architecture, setting some group of persons to handle issues, and that's it? Why should these governors be limited to that, where they're the ones who are in the state, they understand the dynamics? But of course, I know that you're going to say that, hey, it's time that these governors themselves begin to push for the decentralization of power so that that issue of security can be moved from the exclusive list and to the concurrent. But away from that, quickly, the PDP threatens former President Olusegun Obasanjo for attacking Atiku. Now, we know that that's on the Nation newspaper. You probably would have seen that particular interview that was said where you have the former president, I beg your pardon, making all of this comment. And the People's Democratic Party is thinking that former president attacked Atiku, who is also the flag bearer of the PDP, for the 2023 elections. The question from me to you is, do you think that was an attack on the former vice president and the current presidential flag bearer of the PDP?
Well, the former president, Olusegun Obasanjo, is entitled to his opinion. He worked with Atiku. He knows him better than most people do. I don't see that he was only expressing an opinion, which is entitled to.
An opinion, or he was stating the fact? I mean, he did a lot of explanation of what transpired during his government at the time where he was president.
It's still an opinion. It's still an opinion. When you say it's a fact, what is the evidence? Has the evidence been shown? So it is an opinion, and the vice president, the former vice president, have the right to rely him. No, this is not a former president. Talking about it several times. That has always been the norm with Olusegun Obasanjo. Even when people have respected him. So it is an opinion, and it should be taken as such. So if he said that he regretted killing Atiku as a president, the body first, he has several options in 1999 on who to pick. Don't forget Atiku Abubakar contest the president. He was command of general staff. I think he has the president, his brother, but he had to lead that, and he stepped down, and it was on that basis that he picked as a vice president. They worked harmoniously for time. What a politics is very dynamic, and not anybody when it comes to politics, and that is the issue. So he has his opinion, he has his problem at people. So if he does, they be able to that. The word expressed opinion, and if the PDP, as it were, anything against Olusegun Obasanjo, I also think that they should also throw it open and bring it up rather than just threatening that I will close with. They should also throw that just accident, because the integrity of the presidential candidate is at stake. So anything they have against Olusegun Obasanjo to be able to prove their point, and also to prove that Atiku is not what Olusegun Obasanjo is saying he is, then they have a right to be able to present it to the public now.
All right, Chris Kende-Wendu, thank you so much for being part of the Breakfast of the Press, to be precise. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to sharing more of your thoughts next week, Tuesday.
Thank you very much for having me.
And that's the size of our conversation on Off the Press this morning. It's important that you read beyond the headlines, pick up a copy of any of the national dailies that interest you, and read up for more information. We'll take a break down. When we return, it'll be time for us to be looking at our first major conversation right here. Please stay with us.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Booking November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on PlusTvAfrica.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Desire to study law, none whatsoever. I was more inclined to fine arts. My only ambition, I would say, was to become the chief prosecutor. For me, politicians are a bit too playful. That's what I believe. And since '99, we've seen how much investment in social events, in launching some streets that you just starred, and the whole day will be spent on this occasion. British people are generally law-abiding. We are not law-abiding. So another problem of administration is that people don't follow the rules.
Timeless Conversations, airing every Sunday at 8:30 p.m.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.
Family is the bedrock of every society and the essence of life.
On Today with John and Helen, we dig deep into family values in every sense of the word.
Join us every Saturday at 9:15 a.m. on PlusTvAfrica, DSTV channel 408.
With you, we play a part in strengthening the values passed from generation to generation.
You see, the greatest robbery of this election, Marianne, is the fact that it has been, because of the misrule of President Muhammadu Buhari, it has become an ethnic issue rather than an economic issue, rather than an issue of saving our education sector, rather than the insecurity in the Northeast and in all parts of the North. Now everybody is more concerned about where the president comes from than what the president can do, because everybody has seen the marginalization, the epicentrism that has been at play under the APC.
There is a northern president that will be completing 8 years in 2023. And let me restate that the presidency is not of the party. The presidency is the president of the country. So whether it is APC or whether it is PDP or whether it is any other party, he is the president of Nigeria, not the president of the party. And for us, and I speak on behalf of Afeni Ferret, Ohanes Indigo, Sandel, and the Middle Belt Forum, under the auspices of Southern and Middle Belt leaders. And I'm restating the position of that forum, that any political party in Nigeria, any of the major political parties, there are political parties that we know that are motion parties, any of the major political parties, particularly APC and PDP, that choosing other candidates will not have our support. And it's a statement of fact.
Journalism in Nigeria is an all-commerce affair. Why is it an all-commerce affair? It's only in journalism where you see somebody who read an engineering course or maybe a medical course, practicing as either a broadcaster or a reporter, doing stories, somebody who probably read psychology in school, So there is the lack of, what should I say, standardization, So all of these things, pose a very serious challenge, in terms of staying on stories and following up on stories.
The Southeast governors, led by the governor of the Ebonyi State, has to really sit down again to redefine what they established as the Eastern Security Network. The Ebubago Security Network. Yes. The Ebubago Security Network was meant to be a regional security outfit like Amotekun. But if we watch the way the different other 3 governors or 4 governors of the Southeast have been acting or behaving, it does appear that Ebubago has only been operating in Ebonyi. And that I won't talk about it, because what is even doing in Ebonyi, it is not going after the unknown government, it's only going after political opponents.
Okay, agreed, yes. PDP and APC, the 2 major parties, they have a zoning formula which they have been applying since the democratic dispensation came into play. But then, what we see playing out today is like a dysfunction of the entire system. All of a sudden, everybody is saying, oh, we don't believe in zoning. We don't want to follow zoning anymore. So something is, definitely wrong in the structure of these 2 political parties. And this is where the Igbo leaders need to go to first and resolve issues. Why is it that they're now saying they don't want to do zoning? What is the problem? So you can't tell me that, we can blame Mr. President for everything, but we can't be blaming Mr. President when the political parties themselves are not doing the right thing.
I don't know about pushing it to the southeast because obviously those in the south, in the southwest, under the platform of the APC do not have any obligation to the PDP. So I think it's only a natural thing for them to want to, insist that the president, if a president can emerge from the southwest, should emerge from the southwest. But I think what is now happening is that there are even insinuations that even the DC that has zoned the presidency to the southwest is beginning to think twice about it. Perhaps they feel that there is a weakness in the south and that the south has not been able to come up with. They require consensus needed to put pressure on the north to give up on the issue of the presidency. But they will be making a terrible mistake if they think that after 8 years under the president, that the North can remain in power for another 8 years. That will be chaos, and that's why people are warning.
Let's do the breakfast on Plus TV Africa. We look at the resignation of the former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Mohammed. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari has sworn in Justice Ariwoola as the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria. The swearing in of Chief Justice Ariwoola was as a result of sudden resignation of Justice Tanko Mohammed on health grounds. Ariwoola thus becomes the third individual to occupy the top judiciary job of the country in the life of this administration. Recall that Justice Walter Onagan also became the Chief Justice of Nigeria under President Muhammadu Buhari's administration before he resigned from office. We're being joined by a legal practitioner, Abu Mere Osara, to make sense of all of the current situation right now as regards the resignation of the Chief Justice and the issues surrounding his resignation. It's good to have you join us this morning.
Good morning, viewers. Thank you for having me.
So let's share your thoughts quickly. What do you make of the resignation of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Mohammed, on health issues has been put out?
Yes, we must commend my Lord, Dr. Honorable Justice Tanko Mohammed, having looked at his state of health and then taking the uncommon decision, uncommon in the sense that in Nigeria, public office holders usually do not voluntarily resign from office. We know that for some time we've been hearing about issues relating to the health situation of my Lord Justice Tanko Mohammed. And you have to take into consideration the fact that he's 68 years old, and a 68 years old person is an old man. And as a human being, is susceptible to the frailties of health challenges. So it's a mark of honor for my Lord Honorable Justice Tanko Mohammed to do the honorable thing by duly giving notification of his inability to continue with his office and to honorably step aside. So I believe that what my Lord Honorable Justice Tanko Mohammed has done is the right thing, and the members of the legal profession at the bench. We should commend him for that. And we should recommend action or conduct to other public office holders, those who are intending to vie for public office. So, although it's the first time we are having a situation where a Chief Justice of Nigeria will honorably have to leave the position on grounds of ill-health.
Commenting for Abu Marai or Sarah, let's talk about one word that you have constantly used in the course of expressing your thoughts about the resignation of the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Tanko Muhammad. You have said that it's an honorable thing that he has done, but do you think that his resignation is honorable? I mean, juxtaposing that with the fact that 14 justices of the Supreme Court had accused him of corruption. And not too long after this accusation, you have him tendering his resignation. We cannot also forget the issue of Walter Onnoghen, even though at the end of the day, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, what happened with proving the facts, we remember the whole saga with Walter Onnoghen and his resignation and the outcome of the situation where, at the end of it, nothing was found wanting on him. So, but on this hand, do you think that his resignation is really honorable, or something close to what the accusation from the justices of the Supreme Court?
Well, as a legal practitioner by our training, we act on the facts presented, not on presumption or speculation. My Lord Honorable Justice Tanko Muhammad, in his notice of resignation, gave his reason as ill-health. And as I said earlier, those of us in the profession, we have known for quite some time that the Honorable Justice, my Lord Honorable Justice Tanko Muhammad, has been having some challenges, health challenges, which is normal having regard to his age. But now that he has seen that his state of health is impeding, more or less, or restricting or limiting his capacity to discharge the function of his office as Chief Justice of Nigeria, and I think he has done the honorable thing. I do not want us to attribute it to the issue of the leaked internal memo, which in my view, I mean, is normal communication amongst the broader justices that ought to have been leaked to the press. And I was so happy yesterday when I heard and I saw my Lord Acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Olu Ariwola, when the question was posed, or similar question was posed to him, I went, look, the letter or the notice signed by all the 15 justices was not a protest letter, was an internal memo, routine internal memo, identifying issues meant to be discussed. You have to bear in mind that it is normal in the course of discharge of their office for the justices and the head judge, not only in the Supreme Court, but also in the Court of Appeal and then the Federal High Court, from time to time, they sit down, they rub minds and discuss challenges facing the judiciary. And they all provide suggestions and solutions, which in the course of time, it's implemented. So I don't want us to attribute the resignation of my Lord Honorable Justice Tanko Muhammad to the leaked memo of the 14 other justices of the Court of Appeal, of the Supreme Court. So let us not speculate. My Lord Justice Tanko Muhammad has given his reasons, and have no cause to doubt the reason due for his.
But let's share your thoughts quickly on the appointment of the new Chief Justice of Nigeria, Ariwola, who's going to be taking over acting at this particular point. What do you make of him? Should Nigeria, because Nigerians have not been very hopeful and expressed a lot of optimism with Tanko Muhammad's administration and leadership. What should Nigerians expect with a new justice that would be appointed or that would be acting?
Yes. I want all Nigerians to be rest assured that the judiciary, the judges on the various echelon of judicial hierarchy, from the High Court to the Court of Appeal and Justice of the Supreme Court, they are committed to dispensing justice in accordance with the law and their oath of office. And I'm so happy that my Lord Acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, Honorable Justice Olukayode Ariwola, assured Nigerians yesterday after the swearing in that he is going to tenacious there to the true tenets of attaining justice, rule of law, constitution, and fairness. And Lord Honorable Justice Olukayode, if you go his record in the judiciary, he's a third, trusted, reliable, highly cerebral, and is one of the brightest brains we have sitting presently at the Supreme Court of Nigeria. And I want Nigerians to be rest assured that the court, now headed by my Lord Honorable Justice Olukayode Ariwola, will continue to discharge the functions of the office and dispensing justice fairly, truthfully, and justly to all manner of men in Nigeria. Nigerians should be rest assured that with the coming in of my Lord Honorable Justice Olukayode Ariwola, that the justice delivery system in Nigeria will be reinvigorated and reinforced. Nigerians should lose no sleep. Nigerians should repose implicit, absolute confidence in the ability of the Nigerian Supreme Court under the able leadership of my Lord Honorable Justice Olukayode Ariwola to do justice fairly to all manner of men without fear or favor, and to dispense justice in a timely and expeditious manner. Well, I'm sure and I know that my Lord Honorable Justice Olukayode Ariwola will work with fellow justices and with the bar and with the aid of constitutionally created bodies such as the Nigerian Judicial Council to further the administration of justice in Nigeria.
Abu Mera, let's come back to what Nigerians are saying. I mean, it's a good thing that you have said that Nigerians need to have faith, in the new Chief Justice of the country. But some people are very different. If you look at the trend of conversation and the thoughts that you have been put out there, you find a lot of Nigerians saying, hey, they're already presuming that there would be legal issues as regards the presidential elections come 2023. And this might just be a ploy, to have this new justice of Nigeria acting, who would actually be acting, deciding this legal issue. So at the end of the day, a lot of people think that all of this is a game, is a ploy. It's about the 2023 elections. What are your thoughts? Do you think differently?
Without apology, I do not share or subscribe to that view. It's sad that it's a sad commentary. The efforts by the political class to disrupt and interfere with the administration of justice. I want Nigerians to be rest assured that the judiciary, under the leadership of the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria, we hold true to the oath of office. The Nigerian judicial system do not pander to speculation, internet projections.
Okay.
But they act on the facts of the matter and the law as presented before the courts. And nothing.
Abu Mera, sir, we have to let you go at this point in time. We seem to be having not perfect connection with you. Your audio not very clear. We're struggling to hear you right here. Thank you so much for being part of the breakfast. We appreciate your thoughts, and we look forward to sharing more of it as we proceed in the course of the day.
Thank you for having me.
We've been speaking with a legal practitioner, Abu Mera Osar, who is a legal practitioner and has been very hopeful with the appointment of the new Chief Justice of Nigeria. Let's see how all of this unfolds. Stay with us. When we return, we'll look at the second conversation, the menace of vote buying in Nigeria, and how can we curb that. Stay with us.
Tenancy agreement. So in a case that the landlord wants to evict the tenant, in a case there's no tenancy agreement, what happens in court?
Well, usually what the court will do, or what is expected of the landlord in that situation, is to look at the mode of payment. Number one, it is established, there is no controversy as to the fact that the tenant is a tenant of the landlord, whether or not there is a written tenancy agreement. The fact that there is possession, the tenant is in possession of the premises, and he has made some form of payment, which is rent, to the landlord for the use of the premises, that would create a relationship, a tenancy relationship between the landlord and the tenant.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
Nigeria, by extension, Africa, is faced with a lot of challenges. The growing youth population with little engagement, that is a ticking time bomb. We are a blessed people with diverse culture and highly cerebral minds who have a lot to say. And yes, we are talking. It is important we drive the right conversation that informs, inspires, influences thoughts and action. If we say there's beauty in our diversity, then let us embrace our diverse culture. We must continue to courageously be the voice of transformation as we are the hope for the future. Yesterday's conversations shape today. What are you saying to shape your tomorrow? We know you have a lot to say, and we are here to hear you.
This medal has been directed to empower 1,000 persons with disabilities in each state in the next 12 months.
When I start hearing the shoot of gun,
every public policy has winners and losers, and some will not be very happy with you, while others, usually the silent majority, will be quite happy.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on PlusTvAfrica as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
Let's do the breakfast in Plus TV Africa. It's time where we look at our second conversation right here. The menace of vote buying in the Nigerian polity. We have Mohammed Abdullahi, who's a public affairs analyst. He joins the conversation this morning. We also have Nika Gule, who's on standby. He joins the conversation as well. Gentlemen, it's good to have you join us this morning.
Good morning. Thank you very much for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right, let's take a look at the background to this conversation. Is it possible? That's the question, to reverse the vote buying practice. For instance, it's generally known that politically exposed individuals usually withdraw humongous amount of cash from banks few days to the election, and as such, it's a responsibility of security agencies to monitor such funds and ensure that they act if these monies are used in violation of the Money Laundering Act 2011 as amended. Nigerians to properly see their rather unfortunate phenomenon of vote buying as a very critical impediment to genuine democratic consolidation, which is truly the situation. It has also been said that political office holders vote buying issues has opened most closed immediately opportunities. Voters who allow unscrupulous politicians to use them to get into office by all means of electoral shenanigans should know that they are throwing away their fundamental rights to democratic accountability through a selfish act. And of course, their benefactors are only to fit in and be treated as felonies and thrown behind bars. The FCC and the ICPC must act accordingly. And to make sense of all of this morning, like I mentioned earlier on, we have Nika Gule and Mohammed, who joins the conversation, Abdullahi. It's good to have you join us this morning. Let's start with Nika Gule. Nika Gule, the issue of vote buying is no longer news for us, and is no longer news for the electioneering process and our electioneering system. But what do you think of this vote buying issue? Some people are saying that the reason that we have vote has been induced is because, of the economic situation of the country. Poverty has been mentioned as a factor that's responsible for vote buying during elections.
Thank you much for that question. I think the first thing I would like to say about this vote buying, which is real, is that there are a lot of people who stay away from the ballot boxes on the excuse that our votes don't count, the results have already been decided, and for that reason, they don't want to take their own active part in the political process by electing leaders that we deserve. My question to those people is that if votes don't count, why are politicians buying them? The politicians are actually buying votes, and it means that votes are actually counting, and that is why they are buying these votes. And this is because when we started this current democratic, when we started this current democratic system that we're running now, in 1999, the first 3 electoral circles were not counting because there were a lot of shenanigans, like you said, including ballot box snatching, thumb printing, and all of that was going on. And the electoral process has been strengthening over time, especially with the introduction of technology. And this has made the kind of things that were happening before impossible. And that is what now made politicians, when they realized that votes are counting, decided that they will be buying the votes. So I want this message to go out to all Nigerians, home and abroad, to say that the democratic process in Nigeria is getting better, is deepening, and at the point where we are now, our votes are counting, and this is why politicians are doling out billions to buy these votes. And now to the question you asked, yes, people are buying these votes or are selling their votes because of the hard times. When a man has not seen 500 naira for the last 2 weeks, and he has suddenly seen the 500 naira only for him to turn print on a ballot paper, that's enough compensation for him to sell his votes. So the economic situation, like you have rightly said, is also playing a part in this situation.
All right, so let's have Mohammed Abdullahi joining the conversation now. You've heard from Nick Agule. He's saying that, yes, political apathy is one of the reasons why you have vote buying thriving so much. And you can also not rule out the fact that, you know, poverty is also number one on the front burner. But do you agree through his position?
Thank you. I think I might have to disagree a bit with Mr. Nick. For me, I don't think political apathy, voter apathy contributes majorly to vote buying. I think our major problem is the fact that it's a problem of policy failure. It's a problem of implementation of, or even the policies that we have, the failure of implementation of the policies. For instance, let me start by even the primaries of the various political parties. In recent years, INEC has collaborated with security agencies like ICPC and EFCC in actually curbing these manners of vote buying. But we understand that in the recent primaries, for instance, there was a particular delegate of a People's Democratic Party in Kaduna here who came back after the presidential primaries with more than 12 million or 13 million Nigerian naira and distributed much of that money to his constituencies in Sanga local government in Kaduna State. And he was widely reported in the national dailies and even television, celebrated, quote and unquote, as a good Samaritan delegate who got more than 13 million from the primaries and then shared and distributed almost everything to his constituency. While we say that might be a good gesture, but that is vote buying if you look at it critically, because he is being paid to select a presidential candidate of a party that will now become a candidate that Nigerians will either vote for or not. So that is one. There are AICPCs and KFCC operatives in that ground, but nobody is talking about arresting such delegate that got huge, humongous amount of money just to cast his vote for a delegate, for the candidate of the party. So it's a menace that is not just about voter apathy. Yes, we know that people are hungry, there is poverty in the land, but that is not just the major cause. The major cause for me is the fact that we have refused to imbibe technology. Technology would have solved a whole lot of these problems.
Now, Mohammed Abdullahi, let's look at this very critical. I mean, we've moved away from the part where you have the party primaries. We understand the dynamics and the politics that happens, you know, at the party level when you have these primary elections and the delegates. But we're talking about, I mean, for instance, I'm sure that you followed and monitored the elections that happened. These elections have been saying that, I mean, this election, the Ekiti state election and the Osun elections are the closest to the general elections in 2023. Now, for the Ekiti state elections, we saw videos. I mean, you would probably say we need to probe them. These are individuals who were very proud and could show off on camera that they actually, you know, exchange their votes for a few notes, as you can actually see. So I'm trying to understand, why you'd say that, policy failure is responsible for all of this. I mean, you're talking about an individual here who's gone to a polling unit and decides to take money, and they're even proud enough to put it out and say, hey, I've collected X, Y, Z, and, I've casted my vote. It doesn't really matter. And that's it. So how do we solve this problem? As much as you say that you also agree to the fact that poverty is the issue, but you're also not saying that, political apathy cannot just be the issue. But other persons have also said that. The fact that we don't have enough awareness, we're talking about, voter education, the level of awareness created, the reason why people should not sell their vote despite the economic situation. Some persons are saying that this has been very low entirely. We've not had, creating the awareness. This might just also be out of ignorance, not understanding the consequences for selling your vote at different points. Abdullahi Mohammed.
Yes, you are quite right. There are myriads of issues that is contributing to vote buying in Nigeria. And those are some of the issues you have rightly mentioned. For instance, we see in the recently concluded Ekiti elections, there was a report that before the election, constituents and electorate were screaming that they are not going to accept any form of cash inducement to vote any party. But on the day of election, we see on videos, in cameras and so on where people are giving even as little as 3,000 and 5,000 naira to vote, probably against or for their conscience. But what we are saying is this. Like I mentioned earlier, there are security apparatuses, security agencies stationed at the polling unit. What are they doing, or what were they doing when people were being...
All right, let's have Nika Gule.
Giving cash. That is the role of this. That's why I mentioned policy failures, implementation of policies. There are security agencies stationed there. And what were they doing?
So you think that because, of course, we're going to hear from Nika Gule now. You're saying that if you have the EFCC, we saw that the EFCC made several arrests, and we saw the presence of the EFCC. It was very obvious at the time. But are you saying that if you have the EFCC going about during the day of election, that would help in curbing the issue of vote buying in our elections? Nika Gule, let's have you share your thoughts on that one.
Yes. So before I answer your question, let me clarify my initial position. My initial position was not to say political apathy or voter apathy is a cause of vote buying. No. I know that in the 2019 presidential elections, for instance, the voter turnout was 34%. So I was appealing the over 60% that didn't show up on the excuse that our votes don't count. And I was passing a direct message to them to say, if our votes are not counting, why are politicians buying these votes? The only reason that the politicians are buying votes is because our votes are counting. And by that statement, I was mobilizing the over 60% that stayed away, that in 2023, they should show up at the ballot boxes. Because that is a population that will most likely not say their votes, the population that has been staying away. So that was the clarification that I was trying to make.
All right. So in other words,
I agree with my co-panelists. Yes.
Go ahead, quickly.
Yeah, so I said I was to agree with my co-panelists that what is happening with this vote buying is a systemic failure. Because, like in the recent Ekiti gubernatorial election, reports had it that there were agents of the vote buyers that were stationed by the polling booths, so that when people thumbprint on a particular candidate, they show their ballot paper to the agent who confirms that yes, the thumbprint is on that specific candidate, and when that vote seller leaves the polling booth, he now gets his payment. The question is that how could such an agent of the vote buyers be allowed close, even a kilometer?
All right, Nika Gule, we have to let you go. We have to let you go now. Thank you so much for being part of the breakfast. We appreciate you, and we appreciate your perspective on the show this morning. Thank you so much, Mohammed Abdullahi, as well, for being part of the breakfast.
Thank you so very much for having me.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being part of the conversation. We hope that we're able to, curb the menace of vote buying as we move closer to the 2023 general elections. That's the size of the show this morning. If you missed out on any part of it, it's all right to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and to subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. I am Messi Boko. Many thanks for watching.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, Plus TV Africa, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
There is no voting on social media. To vote, you would require a permanent voter's card. To get your PVC, visit cvr.inecnigeria.org. Create your account with a valid email address and start the registration process. An activation link will be sent to you. Click on the link and activate your account. Fill out the form, pick and submit a convenient date and time for your biometrics. Print the application slip, which should have your QR code. On the appointed date, go to the nearest INEC office for your biometric capturing. Thereafter, you will get a registration slip to pick your permanent voter's card when ready. Get your PVC today. This message is from Plus TV Africa.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408 or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
Good morning, I'm Tolu Ojaumi, and this is the news brief. Justice Olukayode Ariwola of the Supreme Court has taken the oath of office as the acting Chief Justice of Nigeria. President Muhammadu Buhari administered the oath of office on him on Monday. This development is coming after Justice Ibrahim Tanko Muhammad's resignation amid allegations of corruption. In the same vein, the president of Nigerian Bar Association, Olumide Akpata, wants the acting Justice Ariwola to reform the nation's judiciary and restore public confidence in the third arm of government. In a statement while reacting to Justice Muhammad's resignation, he pledged residents of the bar to work with Justice Ariwola in cleansing the urgent stable and in addressing the ills that have continued to plague not just the judiciary, but also the entire legal profession. In the meantime, the Federal High Court in Akure has adjourned till 13 July the hearing of the suit seeking fresh conduct of primary elections into the Akoko Southeast Southwest Federal Constituency. This is due to the non-representation for the defendants, former Ondo Commissioner Gbega Adefarati and APC Chairman Adetimei. The Prosecutor Counsel, Shola Ajishafe, told newsmen that the defendants had been duly served and wondered why they failed to appear. The petitioner, Babatunde Adanike, is seeking correction to the alleged illegality in the conduct of the APC primary election into the Akoko Southeast Southwest Federal House of Representatives seat.
Well, it's in respect of illegal, invalid, and void way of doing things. An election, a primary of the party was supposed to have taken place somewhere. And at St. Patrick's Secondary School, Iwaro, Akoko, for the House of Representatives for Akoko Southeast Southwest, which never took place. Instead for it to take place there, the powers that be, or I don't know, however, they took it to the Dome in Akure, which is in gross violation of both the Electoral Act, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and equally the APC Constitution and guidelines.
Who paid the nominated and interest fee of 10 million naira, campaign, spend money, but the election was never allowed to hold. I did the needful by putting my petition across to the party set up appeal committee. The appeal committee received my petition and sat. They got the oral evidence and ordered that there was no primary election in my constituency. Therefore, they fixed another date, which was about 2 Thursdays ago, I think on the 7th, if I can remember.
The newly appointed AIG in charge of Zone 17, comprising Ondo and Ekiti State, Mohammed Akera, has promised that his command will synergize with other security agencies to reduce crime in the states. Addressing officers and men of the zone during his maiden address, he assured of his commitment to rid the zone of all forms of crimes and criminality. He urged members of the public to partner the police at all times to be on the same page in securing the zone.
The ugly incident that happened in Owa and the other area within the western axis is nip on the bud. And security is a collective effort. Nobody can do it all. So we need to synergize with other sister agencies to make sure that the entire citizenry of this place can have peace of mind and go about their respective business.
Still on security, Chief of Defense Staff Lucky Rabo yesterday faulted the directive by Zamfara State Governor Bello Matawalle to residents to bear arms in a bid to protect themselves against bandits. Rabo said the call was not right because the armed forces and other security agencies were handling the challenges posed by criminal elements. He also said Matawalle does not have the power to make such a pronouncement. The CDS spoke with reporters at the opening of the joint exercise for the National Defense College and War Colleges of the Armed Forces of Nigeria, codenamed Exercise Grand National in Abuja. Police authorities in Imo State have arrested one of the suspected killers of a chieftain of the APC, Ahmed Gulak. The PPR of the state, Mike Abatum, said that the suspect, identified as Anosike Chimobi from Ahiazu Mbase local government area of the state, was apprehended 1 year after Gulak's death. Gulak, a former aide to former President Goodluck Jonathan, was murdered by a group of armed men on May 30, 2021, during a visit to Imo State.
When he was picked in the course of interrogation, he confessed being a member of the proscribed peoples of indigenous peoples of Biafra and his armed affiliate. He equally revealed that himself and his gang members were the ones who murdered Dr. Ahmed Gulak on 30th May 2021. He equally made the command to know that his commander, one Ebube, who is still at large and the command is on his trail, was the one who recruited him into IPOB. When he was picked in the...
Speaker of Benue State House of Assembly, Titus Oba, has charged the Indigo community to rise up and challenge the killings of Christians in the state and the burning of worship centers in the state and across the country. Our correspondent Francis Ter filed in this report.
The governorship aspirant says the Igbo nation is the greatest Christian community in the black nation, and as such, plays a vital role in curbing the killings of Christians in the country.
The entire country is watching us, Christians, being slaughtered in our churches. And one person that this country is looking up to as Christians is the Igbo nation. The Igbo nation needs to rise up. When you rise, when the minority Christian community will rise, and the killing in our churches will stop.
The Benue State Commissioner for Land and Survey, Bernard Unenge, who represented Governor Samuel Ortom, thanked the Igbos for their support and contributions to the economic and infrastructural development of the state through their businesses. He encouraged the Southeasterners to continue to agitate for the leadership of the country and promised the state government support for the construction of the Imo Civic Center as a mark of appreciation.
At this occasion, it is his desire that what your hearts are yearning for, which is the Civic Center, will be achieved. He also asks that you should continue to live the lives, peaceful lives you are living in this state, and continue to do your businesses so that the state and indeed the country will grow.
Earlier, one of the leaders of the Imo Day Celebration Committee expressed his satisfaction with the hospitality of the Benue community.
Because we spend most of our time in Benue. So the civic center we are planning to do is a wonderful one. And by special grace of God, and with what I have seen the chief launcher have done, and our incoming governor 2023 has shown to us that we are sitting very tight and we will continue waxing harder.
The high point of the occasion was the presentation of the Meritorious Award to the governor as a dogged defender of the Benue Valley and the Parliamentary Excellence Award to the Speaker.
The NDLEA has disclosed that 145 suspected drug dealers are being prosecuted in various courts in Rivers State. The state commander of NDLEA in Rivers, Dr. Ahmed Mahmouda, spoke during the sensitization campaign to commemorate this year's International Day Against Drug Abuse and Illicit Trafficking in Port Harcourt. Take a listen.
As part of its campaign in the fight against drug abuse and substance use in the country, the Rivers State Command of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, in collaboration with some civil society organizations and pharmacists, staged a sensitization awareness campaign from the street to the Rivers State University campus on the need to end the ugly menace against the youth. Speaking with newsmen, Mahmouda said that the level of drug abuse and illicit trafficking in Nigeria had become worrisome and needed concerted efforts by all groups in the society to sensitize the public on the danger.
You can see the problem of the drug abuse in Nigeria just within 6 months now. Then we have seized almost 277.239 kilograms of various illicit substances in the state.
Executive Director of Right-Man Leaders Network, John Best, and other stakeholders urge youth in the state to shun illicit drugs, saying that as future leaders, they should not allow drugs to destroy their brain or health.
Young people believe that the way out of this crisis is to indulge in drugs, is to take something to cool off and all of that. But we're here to tell them that no, by the time you take this thing, it never helps matters. It worsens matters and all of that, right? If some person take drugs to reduce stress and all of that.
We put up the health fair where they can come and have free health checks. You have BP, BMI, blood sugar, hemoglobin, malaria tests, hepatitis B tests as well. So it's always good to know your health status in order to live a better life.
We are actually fighting against the illicit use of drugs. That's why we are here. We reach out to the young ones, the ones that are really mad by these illicit behaviors too, taking illicit drugs like marijuana and the rest of them that are very, very harmful to their system. And we have come to the partnership with Right Minds to make sure they use their minds rightly to stay away from these drugs too.
Leadership Challenge Foundation is here today collaborating with NDLA to engage the minds of the youth and to let them know that there is no good in drug abuse. Drug abuse cannot do any youth any good. Rather, when they are engaged, with their hands, engaged with their minds, then there won't be room for drug abuse.
Mahmouda reaffirmed that the command under his watch has determined to ward off traffickers from the state with the active support of the Rivers State government and some community members. He encouraged citizens to rise up and defend themselves against drug abuse, which according to him is the factor behind violence and insecurity that seem to have taken over the country at the moment.
From Rivers, we pay a quick visit to Ogun State, where the organized labor has commenced an indefinite strike. It's over the state government's refusal to meet the demands after a 7-day ultimatum. Addressing the workers in Abeokuta, the state capital, the state chairman of the Trade Union Congress, Akim Lasisi, maintained that the union had used all its strategies and now is left with no other option.
And by the workings of government, by the close of work today, the salary for the month of June is also due. Am I correct? Yes. So 21 months was at the last letter written by organized labor. Today we have 22 months, except and unless when the salary is paid. Secondly, we call attention of government to issue of contributory pension. They have been deducting from salaries of workers. Government is not remitting. Are you still interested in contributory pension? Oh. In November 2020, September 2020, a memorandum of understanding was signed between the Labour and the Ogun State government. When you look at the clause 5 on that MOU, it states clearly that other demands of labor will be subject of joint review in March 2021. Are we meant to do any review? All schools, all hospitals, all local government, all ministries, all parastatals, all agencies. Making a decision that is binding on all of us. And the decision is that we are embarking on indefinite strike. If that is our decision, it means that from 12 midnight to night, nobody is expected at work tomorrow.
We move to other parts of Africa. Police continue to comb a township tavern for evidence after the mysterious death of 21 teenagers after a night out. Most of the victims, some as young as 13 years old, were found dead inside a popular bar in the southern city of East London. Some died later in hospital, with the victims bearing no visible signs of injury and those admitted to hospital complaining of symptoms such as chest pains and backache. There remains much speculations about the incident among local officials and politicians as what caused the deaths. Family members of the 21 adolescents gathered alongside community leaders to hold a prayer session. General Abdel Fattah Burhan, head of Sudan's ruling Sovereign Council, visited Al-Fashaka in the east of Sudan yesterday after Ethiopia killed 7 Sudanese soldiers and a civilian in the border area. The incident was the latest sign of deteriorating ties between the East African nations. A Sudanese military statement late Sunday described the killings as a cowardly act and said Khartoum would retaliate. Outside Africa, the new U.S. ambassador to Ukraine, Bridget Brink, was officially sworn into office yesterday by U.S. Vice President Kamala Harris following her Senate confirmation in May. Brink was joined by her husband, 2 sons, and extended family for the ceremony. The U.S. Senate unanimously approved her on May 18, filling a critical post that had been vacant for 3 years as Washington works to increase support for the government in Kyiv.
I, Bridget A. Brink.
I, Bridget A. Brink,
Do solemnly swear
that
that I will support and defend
the
Constitution of the United States
Constitution of the United States
against all enemies,
foreign and domestic,
that I bear true faith and allegiance
that I bear true faith and allegiance
to the same,
that
I take this obligation freely
I take this obligation freely
without any mental reservation
or
purpose of evasion, and that I will well and faithfully discharge the duties of the office upon which I am about to enter. So help me God. Congratulations, Madam Ambassador.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Congratulations to the whole family.
U.S. Vice President there, Kamala Harris, swearing in a diplomat. Now, the bodies of 46 dead migrants were discovered inside a tractor trailer yesterday in San Antonio, Texas. The city's fire department said in one of the most deadly recent incidents of human smuggling along the U.S.-Mexico border. The truck was found next to railroad tracks in a remote area on the city's southern outskirts. 16 other people found inside the trailer were transported to hospitals for heat stroke and exhaustion, including 4 minors, but no child was among the dead.
Fortunately, we were able to transport 16 people. 12 of those are adults and 4 pediatric. All of them were conscious at the time upon transportation. The patients that we saw were hot to the touch. They were suffering from heat stroke, heat exhaustion, No signs of water in the vehicle. It was a refrigerated tractor trailer, but there was no visible working AC unit on that rig. We are currently putting those 60 members through critical incident stress debriefing. Again, we're not supposed to open up a truck and see stacks of bodies in there. None of us come to work imagining that. So we're working through the behavioral health for our folks right now.
We have 3 people in custody. We don't know if they are absolutely connected to this or not. This investigation has been turned over to HSI. It is now a federal investigation.
So the plight of migrants seeking refuge is always a humanitarian crisis, but tonight we are dealing with a horrific human tragedy. So I would urge you all to think compassionately and pray for the deceased, the ailing, the families, and we hope that those responsible for putting these people in such humane conditions are prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law.
Let's now serve some Tuesday business news. The Investors and Exporters Forex Window Initiative has attracted over $50 billion investment in the past 3 years. That's according to the CBN. The CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, broke the news in Abuja at the opening of regional course on exchange rate regimes and policies organized by the West African Institute for Financial and Economic Management. He also explained why the Apex Bank introduced multiple exchange rate regimes. Given a rundown of the various exchange rate regimes the CBN has introduced over time, Emefiele said the I&E window had recorded high success. It was represented by the bank's Deputy Director of Monetary Policy Department, Mrs. Omolara Duke. Sports news. Britain's Andy Murray beat Australia's James Duckworth at centre court yesterday 4-6, 6-3, 6-2, 6-4 and set up a second-round clash with Big 7 American John Isner. Asked if he felt the win gave him confidence that he could go on a deep run at the tournament this year. Murray said he was feeling in better physical condition compared to last year, but he said he would need to be at the very best of his game to get past Aina in the next round and can't set his sights too far ahead just yet.
You know, certainly I'm in a better place than I was last year when I played here. And in terms of like pain, certainly in a better place than I was in 2017 when I played here. But yeah, I don't know about having a deep run or not. I got a pretty tricky match in the next round against Isner. And yeah, I'll need to be on it for that one if I want to get through it.
I don't feel the pressure because I rate myself not one of the favorites to win these tournaments. Obviously, if I play well, I have level to win the tournament. But there are out of more experienced player on grass, and more players play better than on grass than me. So I don't feel the pressure. Just still getting experience playing on grass and enjoy every match.
That's the news brief. For more stories, please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And do subscribe to our YouTube channel at PlusTvAfrica and PlusTvAfrica Lifestyle. And to